just a little bit.
This is...
Yeah. We'll get our friends in on this meeting here.
Yeah, I caught the last couple minutes of your last transmission, and you were saying that we were going to go live, and I go, well, I didn't do my hair, you know.
So, what did was I right to think that you were in Laguna Beach?
Oh, that's where I started, yeah, in Laguna.
Yeah. And what year were you there?
1980.
1980.
Yeah.
That's when I just left.
Really? You just left?
Yeah, because I lived in San Clemente and Dana Point, and I left for.
Hey, RJ, you sit over here too, so everybody can see.
And I knew everybody in Laguna.
He's taking that chair. I'm going to sit in that.
Move your phone a little bit over here.
I knew all the drug dealers in Laguna. Devotee.
Drug dealers. Oh, they were drug dealers too over there, huh?
Oh, you must have known that. In fact, one of the guys there that was associating with the temple, Alex Kulik, I don't know if you ever heard of him.
No.
He was a major, he used to hang out with the devotees, and he was a big heroin dealer.
Ooh, good.
And he gave him $5,000 in a suitcase in town.
Oh.
I looked inside and go, no, we don't launder money here.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
we don't launder money. And then he went to overseas somewhere, and he had a bunch of heroin with him, and anyway, he came back and he got busted in Mission Viejo. He had jet lag. He parked his Stutz Bearcat in the Safeway parking lot. The police said, "What are you doing here?" Yeah,
A real one?
a real one, yeah. And he paid $750,000 bail. Biggest bail ever paid in Orange County.
What was it for?
Not now. Not now. What's her name? Just got done paying $1.5 million.
This was 70 something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he was a big associate of all the devotees there, Alex Kulik. I don't know what happened to him. I know he got busted again after he got out. And he might have did some time. But you should know all these guys. You were in Laguna.
No, I didn't know. I was a dishwasher there.
A dishwasher?
Yeah, they didn't know anything.
And then there was a devotee there after I came back from Radha Damodar named Tulsi. I believe actually broke into my house when I wasn't there and stole some money out, and I couldn't.
What did he steal it for Prabhupada? Did he steal it for Prabhupada or?
No, he bought. I think he was buying drugs with it. I couldn't
drugs.
prove it, but he got instant karma.
Oh.
He fell off of the balcony and was paralyzed from the neck down.
Oh.
For messing with devotees.
Yeah.
It's
That's
not
weird.
good.
Yeah.
One day you karma. When you start devotees, start going against devotees.
Yeah.
Bad.
Hey, why don't we introduce everybody because nobody knows here. This is Kamalakanta.
Kamalakanta.
Yeah, he was a servant of Vishnu Jan.
Janaswami.
Yeah.
Radha Damodar.
And Radha Damodar.
And Tamal Krishna.
And Tamal Krishna, and then this guy is Arjai, the famous Arjai.
Yeah, my guru is Vasudev Malkar.
Vasudev
Malkar.
Malkar. Where's he from?
Calcutta.
Calcutta. Right.
Yeah.
Do I need to let everybody know the line?
So where's this going out to?
This is, let's see, there are people in England, there's Sacramento.
Sacramento.
Yeah. Can somebody advertise over there too? Let's see, what's his name? Janaki or somebody?
I just let Janaki know. Okay,
Yeah.
she's already on, huh?
Yeah, you don't have to, she's on.
I don't have to?
Yeah, if you want, you can do it,
I'll let some...
Yeah.
So they're telling me we're in beautiful Tucson, Arizona, 90 degrees today?
Oh yeah, Tucson, Arizona, 90 degrees. Yeah. So what are you doing here now? What's your...
Here? Well, they pretty much kicked me out of California. So...
Who's they? They kick you out?
What's your name that's running for president now? Kamala Harris, yeah.
Kamala Harris?
He was district attorney for San Diego.
Oh, okay.
And they had nothing better to do than kick a little guy like me out of...
What were you doing that?
I was in business, cleaning and restoration business, and they had a complaint about something, and even though it was done right and everything was done right, then they complained to the district attorney, people like that, and they wanted me to pay a fine, and I go, I didn't break any laws. And they couldn't really say what laws I broke, except that I didn't have a contractor's license, but I didn't need a contractor's license for this particular work I was doing.
Oh.
And they kept bugging me, so I said, look, I got to get out of here, so I came to Tucson, where I have a friend here, and
Yeah, me too.
I've been here about 4 or 5 years, and I've been in Patagonia also, and I used to go to the temple here. It was pretty nice for a while.
Yeah.
And I tried to start a temple in
Thanks.
Patagonia,
Yeah.
but that didn't work out.
It didn't work out, yeah. Always something.
I ran into this major resistance.
What about this temple here? You like it?
Well, I used to think it was pretty nice. There are a couple of real devotees there, but most are like what you say, Vedic type devotees. There are a couple. Most of the good devotees are from the ones I know are from, not from this country. They're from Nepal or someplace like that.
Yeah. The actual devotional qualities.
Right. Yeah. Real devotional qualities. Yeah.
Yeah, the main temple president that is at Tucson here, he
That's a woman.
Oh, you Sudhanami?
Sedona.
Yeah.
Sedona.
Oh, okay. Well,
Her husband, you mean?
he must be
Her husband? Oh, you mean
the one that goes from city to city or what? I'm not quite sure how that.
Must be the husband, or the ex-husband.
He's I don't know. Sachi knows him.
tall.
Sachi, who's the not the young guy that's real tall.
No.
That's right.
Dear Adata.
Who's that?
Atula.
Atula.
No, Tula's cool. He's right on the money.
Well, let's be nice talking about it.
Yeah, no, I'm saying that this what's his name? I want to make.
Dear Adata?
Yeah, he's got spirit.
Yeah,
He's got
he does.
spirit.
He sings really well.
You can see it when you walk in the room, and you go, that's who I'm attracted to, right there, And the first day I was there, I walked straight up to him and just gave him a hug and said, "You love Prabhupada. I can see it."
You seen the temple president or something?
I thought he was.
He's married to the temple president.
Oh, okay. I don't know whose title belongs to who, but
He's married to the temple president.
Which is who?
Who's
Sudhamani?
Sudhamani.
Oh.
But I wanted to tell you something, Gaurahari, that I haven't been able to say. A lot of changes have occurred, and there's a lot of, the temple devotees have had to pay back and take up the slack for a lot of the history that has occurred. They had to pay a bunch of court costs and stuff like that, and changes are occurring and openness is happening more than we realize. And I just wanted to tell you that.
I don't even think about it. Why tell me? I mean, it's not my thing.
Because I always wanted to, because I wanted to tell you and the whole world. So there.
that's one way to do it.
Yeah, we have our program here. It's just, they got theirs, we got our little thing. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no. A young man by the name of Steve Perry.
Steve Perry.
Yeah.
Is that a rock star?
No, he's on the internet. One of Prabhupada's disciples, originals. He started printing the 1972 edition of Bhagavad-Gita. So I bought a bunch of them. And this man that we're speaking of, I still don't.
Steve Perry.
No. guy at the temple.
Oh,
He immediately, what do you have for me? And I go, I've got a case of 1972 books. And he just, his mouth just dropped. And he goes, that's exactly what we need. And I said, well, Krishna must have, must be sending it to you. So that was my experience with the temple. And the other young man, Atula. He's a character. Love him to death. I mean, Vaidya as the day is long. And really doesn't understand discussion. He's more, as a matter of fact, like you say, can read the words, knows what they mean, but doesn't feel it, doesn't have the spirit.
So a lot of people like that.
Yeah. And once he was around me for a little while, he loosened up, and you could see the growth. I mean, it was truly amazing. But yeah, there was another guy too I had dinner with. Sachi, do you remember his name?
Gangeya.
Who?
Gangeya.
Gangeya.
Gangeya?
Is he still around?
Like Ganges. Gangeya.
Oh, Gangeya.
Ganges.
Oh, okay.
Like Ganges.
What an amazing spirit. Very on top of the wave as far as stability, but really loves Prabhupada. You can just see it exuding from him. So yeah.
Gangeya, he's not the one with Alzheimer's?
There's, I don't know, there's been there's labels,
Yeah.
I don't like labels.
Neither do I.
But Gangeya is tall and thin, brown hair.
Yeah. I mean,
He's
just
very
some
scholarly
very,
type.
very sweet devotees. But there again, they're not transcendental.
Well, I don't think we need to talk too much detail because the people out there, they don't even know.
They don't know them.
Yeah, and it's just, I just asked how, what do you think?
Yeah.
But he was telling us, Kamalakanta was telling us about some of the experiences in the early days when there was no one in America that knew about Krishna consciousness. And,
oh my goodness.
And they had to.
That was a while back, huh?
And they had to really be careful.
Well, why don't you tell us, continue. You were just telling us about that early days.
You might have heard of the
Radha Damodar
traveling party called the Radha Damodar TSKP Traveling Sankirtan Party. 6 Greyhound buses, completely customized from the ground up, completely built by myself and other. In fact, everybody on these buses had special talents. Mechanics, carpenters, painters, artists. And we created these buses so that when you came off the street and you walked into one of these buses, it was like that song, The Magic Bus. You stepped in and you were transformed immediately into a devotee. It seemed like it was heated floors, cushioned floors, pillows everywhere, pictures of Chaitanya, speaker systems, the beautiful deities sitting there. It was closed off from the cab to the driver's area, from the driver's area to the back, with special types of glass, the leaded glass, really nice. It opened up. And they were really well made. We had Dial Chandra, one of the drivers and mechanics, and he would completely rebuild these diesel engines. Anyway, yeah, we went places where no devotee Vaishnava had ever gone. And many
what
times we would
kind
run
of
into
places?
huge resistance. Even though they were set up, places like state fairs were the worst. College campuses weren't too bad because you had, now it'd probably be worse, but then it was, they were pretty receptive to us. But just being out on the street in the middle of no place, you know, seeing people taking a bath with a hose at 30 degrees, you know, in a parking lot.
Outside.
And the police come by and go, are you from this planet? Were you guys from? Shaved heads. We had a lot of funny, and the police used to just, or even the military people thought we were some kind of special martial artist type of people.
I get that every once in a
Yeah.
while.
But yeah, it was, we were ready for anything. We were heavily armed. We didn't have there weren't a lot of Brahmin types. There was all basically Kshatriya, warrior type people. Myself, semi-pro hockey player. And we had paratroop rangers and a lot of ex-Vietnam people and Oklahoma policemen. The only one who was the most frail, I think, was Tamal Krishna. He was like afraid of everybody because he was
afraid.
He was afraid somebody was going to catch him with the back of the hand or something.
He was on the party himself too.
Yeah, him and Vishnu John. He would do all the preaching, and then you would see Vishnu John, and automatically you would just want to be a devotee. Vishnu John had a certain magnetic aura. Plus, he was good looking, great singer, rock star. And then he had this aura. He's Italian, tall, very humble too at the same time. And you just wanted to follow the guy. I mean, it was an accident how I got there. I wasn't really looking, but I've somehow or other ended up in San Francisco in 1974, accidentally. I was working in Orange County and ran into some of the Radha Damodar people there. They said, "You want to meet Prabhupada?" I go, "Sure." Meet Prabhupada. I was reading some books a little bit. And before that, though, I had to be vetted by Vishnu John and Tamal Krishna, who I didn't know. And in a room by myself with them. And they asked me to ride with them, and that they would introduce me to Prabhupada the next day before Rath Yatra, that famous picture you see with Prabhupada there. That was at 74.
Wow.
In fact, at that Rath Yatra, I'd had a carnation. They were throwing carnation flowers everywhere. And I took a carnation, I threw it. I was way back, at least 50 yards, and the wind caught it. And I'm also a baseball player for many years. And it started spinning. And it came right at Prabhupada, it hit it right in the chest, boom. And it bounced up and he caught it, and it came back down. And I go, yeah! I got it. I got him. And, so we had a gunfight in Florida.
Gunfight?
I guess where the temple is now in Gainesville. We were there, we were coming in for the winter, going down in southern Florida. We stopped in Gainesville. We were there for about a month, and we had a couple of gunfights there. They had a old, it was like a sorority building there. I think it was 2 stories high, and Radha Damodar party took it over, upper and lower. And we had the upper floor had all our guns and stuff were in one of the rooms, and the guys were in there cleaning and stuff and preparing our weapons. And all of a sudden bullets started flying through the window from across the street, which was a little forest. And so we just started shooting back at the
broke the windows, obviously.
Yeah, going through the windows, and then that went on for a little while, and then they kind of disappeared. And the next day, we had one of the buses were in the front. This was a beautiful area there, the Florida temple. It was a really nice front. Was all grass, beautiful grass and flowers, and had a big backyard area. And one of the Dal Chandra, one of Radha Damodar guys, was working on a on the bus, but he was in the back. And and nobody could see him there if they came in, and some kids came in with these 2 convertible cars doing wheelies in the front yard, tearing up the grass, and dialed through his tire iron at one of them stuck in the side, and the guy stopped just in time for Dial to jump in, grab the keys, and the other guy got away. And then all the devotees came out, and he's standing there in the middle of all the devotees and Radha Damodar, and this one guy named Jerry, who was the ex-policeman from Oklahoma. He was standing there. And the president at the time was Amarinda, but he wasn't there. He was in India. So the vice president was talking to him, and the guy was talking back, and this policeman just caught him with the back of the hand, practically knocked him out and said, "Don't talk that way to a Brahmin boy." And anyway, they went to court, and the judge said you had to do 6 months service at the Gainesville Temple on their landscaping. And what I heard was they all both became devotees after that.
That's great.
Like John Madai, you know.
Strange way how Krishna works, huh?
Yeah.
In fact, the police used to come by there all the time, and they go, "You know, you people are really nice here, but somehow you attract some real weird people."
That's true.
And then we'd hand them, some prashadam, and they'd go away. But there, yeah. What else? Then there was a time in a couple times that there was Louisiana. Somebody threw a tire iron through the back window of the main Radha Damodar bus and hit the back of the DDs. And Vishnu John just went ballistic. He couldn't believe it. Well, I never seen him get so mad. And he used to wear, the sannyasi robes, and he never wore nothing else. That's all he wore. I was outside at the time. He comes running out with a shotgun.
He comes around the shotgun.
And he sees this guy running, and he pulls up the shotgun. I'm standing there going, "Vishnu John," and his robes fall off, and he's got nothing on.
Oh.
And they give him enough time to stop and catch himself, and
Before
of course the guy got away. that was pretty funny. Then where I was in Canada, at Calgary, big festival there, a state fair, and we were set up there. We sell lots of Indian clothes and incense. I was also functioning as a treasurer, and we would be taking in sometimes 10,000 a day in sales of clothes and incense and books and
10,000 a day.
Yeah, we were doing big time. I'd be carrying at least that much on me a lot of times, and Tamal would be looking at it, "Dave." I had 2 bodyguards too to protect me, because he goes, "That's Christian's money. You can't lose anything. You got to count for every penny of that. Whoever you pay, big expenses with 6 buses, fuel, all that." And
You would sell where? At the state fairs?
yeah, and plus we had to make bank deposits and all kinds of stuff. But anyway, I was at the booth by myself with one other guy, Padachu Raj, little skinny guy, and there was another tent. The beer tent was next door, and all these big Calgary cowboys were there. Big guys. Every one of them was over 250 pounds, and they were all drunk, and they were coming out of that tent, and they're seeing me and this other guy there, and the Hare Krishna stuff, and they're talking all kind of stuff, and I'm like, look at Padachi, I go, "I don't know, what are we gonna do now? I don't think I can take on this many big old drunken cowboys." And so Padachi said, "Well, we better start chanting the Shingadev chant." We started chanting, and they stopped.
Yeah.
And I go, "God, now it works." And then I looked behind me, And there was all these carnies standing there with baseball bats. And they go, you mess with these guys, you messing with us.
That's right.
Krishna sent the carnies. All right. So, it was a lot of fun. They had the best chefs, the best food. It was like one non-stop
How long
party.
did that go on, that party?
Oh, I was there a year. It probably ended pretty much after that because Christian John checked out. And after
How
that...
did he go? What was it?
He drowned himself, in the Ganges because he felt he was
impure,
making offenses, and
because of like sex desires.
who was the sage Hare Dasa?
Oh, Chota Hari Dasa.
Chota Hari Dasa that drowned himself.
Yeah.
Or hung himself.
Yeah. No, he probably drowned himself too.
And because of sexual desires, he was chastised by Lord Chaitanya for that.
Yeah.
And Christian John was a real sensitive guy, and he was having a talk with Prabhupada, but on a morning walk about it. And Prabhupada, I think he told him, he didn't hear him good because he got him back, and Prabhupada said, it's color evil, you don't have to worry about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I guess he didn't hear the whole thing, and so he felt he was being offensive, and I was supposed to be there that time to go to India, but I didn't, and I kind of feel like if I was there, maybe I could have been protecting him.
Yeah. But you see, that's the problem with the Vaidhi thing. It's so strict, that you take, it's like, it's just like, and it's unnecessary. Like Prabhupada had the right idea. It's like this, you don't need to bother with that, but he probably didn't hear him.
Right.
Yeah.
But if anybody was spontaneous, it was Vishnu John. I mean, he was just spontaneity personified. I mean, so why he would be, the only guy I could think of was Thakur Haridas.
Yeah,
Chota Haridas, being an associate of Chaitanya.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
Well, the thing is, like, even now, Raganuga Bhakti and the principles of spontaneous devotion are not preached. See? Right. So if you, like, we're preaching that now. So, like, if Vishnu John would have said that and I was there, or this preaching was there, okay, I would have went to the Bhagavatam, and Bhagavatam says, just one Namabhas destroys millions of sins. Millions of sins. And he was obviously chanting more than Namabhas.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, see? Like, so even if there's fall down or whatever there is, a sin committed or what, your chanting rectifies it. See, and that's the preaching that needs to be done. Otherwise, the Vaidhi level, the preaching's not clear. It's just not clear Siddhantically. And the Christians also have the same kind of problem. They're not clear theologically about points. But the more clear we get understanding the deeper principles of Bhagavatam, then you get out of this, basically crazy state or do weird things like that. I mean, you don't
dive deep.
Yeah, you don't need to do this, and because God is practical and logical, and it's unfortunate, but it was probably maybe that it was just what was happened to save him from a lot of grief afterwards.
But on this path, even it's quite a challenge. There are times when I feel like I don't want to live. It is really, really cutting. It really challenges us amazing. And Vishnu John probably just had more courage, to take his life or whatever. But there's been times when I've felt that too, that it's very challenging. Although Vishnu John can actually be an example of how we can look at it as that's really kind of too bad, kind of a waste. show us how, if I was decide to take my life or something, then, you know, how many more people he could have touched or whatever. So he's an example for me to say, you know, that's really not the best thing to do, you know, and just to try to hang in there and tolerate it, because you never know who's going to come along next, who's in such a distressed situation, and you pull them out of it. Even just a little bit of what you do pulls them totally out of it, or what.
Yeah, and not only see others, it's ourselves. You know, like Lord Chaitanya, Sanatana Goswami wanted to commit suicide.
You think they can hear you okay?
Yeah, oh yeah. Sanatana Goswami wanted to commit suicide, and Lord Chaitanya says, hey, suicide is a mode of ignorance. He said, if you cannot attain, he said, if I could attain Krishna by giving up these bodies by suicide, I'd give up millions, but I can't do it. You attain Krishna by hearing, chanting, remembering, and about the name, the fame, the pastime of Krishna. And of course that's in Sadhu Sangha is where everybody gets their start. And you get to the point where love of Krishna begins to awaken, see, this devotion. And then you won't want to commit suicide, you know, no matter, you know, then it's not about the rule or anything, and then you can understand these deeper concepts. Back then, you know, again, you know, Vishnujan is living in a time, he was Raganuga, obviously, but he's still around a lot of Vaidis and Vaidhi teaching.
Right.
You know, and that's a problem. Even now, here you come to Krishna, you might be a Raganuga Bhakta, but you don't have the association. You come there and they just give you what was given 40 years ago, 50 years ago. You know?
Well, do you think that when we have a lot of rules like that, it can, one of the many things it can do is bring up a lot of guilt if we're not able to do it?
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, it's one of guilt. It's Christians have the guilt thing.
Jews have
yeah, it's a guilt. Yeah, and people that come to this path here, or the Raganuga, you know, that's the first thing that starts to go is this guilt. I mean, we had like noodles and Pani. They had all this guilt from the Vaidhi.
Oh, his wife.
Yeah, his wife. Yeah. They're all like guilty. I really want to eat onion, but if I do, it's going to go to hell, and you know, and all this. And, just Krishna. I know Krishna. No. He's going to hate me if I eat an onion. No. You know, this Vaidhi is just things are still not so clear.
Eat some dried onions.
Dried onions. And then she's the first thing that left is that guilt. She says, "Wow, you know," because I never say eat this or don't. I say, yeah, just come to Sadhu Sangha and everything will be well. You know, automatically you start following the deeper principle. That pleases Krishna. Coming to what we preach here and hearing the confidential message pleases Krishna hundreds of times more than following Vaidhi, because it's this is a stronger path. You know, I mean, love of God is awakening people's lives in less than 1 year, and many of the people as you see every day, you know, demonstrations. So that's unusual. That's uncommon. Oh yeah, that's uncommon, isn't it? You know, it's not like.
So God says, here, I'm going to create an onion for you, but you can't eat it, okay?
That's another thing. Why do you create onions if you can't eat it? Or mushrooms, you know? What is this? Man, what kind of God are you, man? You create the thing and now we can't eat it? And most people love those things.
Yeah,
I hate onions.
He was like the authority.
Go ahead, say
he would.
Vishnu
I mean, he would override. He could override anybody. I don't care who it was.
Vishnu
because his power wasn't in his given authority. He just automatically had the authority from his aura.
From the aura.
And just like Chaitanya automatically had the authority. You don't question about Chaitanya, because you see effulgence coming out of him will blind you in seconds. And that's what Vishnujan was like. He had some kind of, he had to be some demigod. In fact, whenever he would chant at the temple, Prabhupada would cry when Vishnujan was chanting. And if Vishnujan was anywhere around Prabhupada, he would say, bring Vishnujan to chant. So he had to be some kind of demigod. Obviously, his powers that he could have just, like a magnet, people would just come to him.
Yeah, more than
when he left, he pretty much took all the Kshatriyas and everybody else that was trying to be real Krishna conscious, the Raganugas with him, and left the Vaidis to hang out.
The Raganugas left where
Left the movement?
Yeah, pretty much. I left, and all the warrior type Kshatriya, I don't see any Kshatriya type devotees anywhere that are into spontaneous service.
So you just left, and what did you do? You just just worship Prabhupada on your own, and just...
Yeah, what can you do? Well, you might try to go to a temple once in a while, but we had the books, and I had my own authors, and I figured if Krishna wanted me to do more service someplace, he will direct me just like he directed me this time before. But and then it just seemed like it just kept degrading. I didn't really, even the prasadam, what I was used to, wasn't that good, and I'm a pretty chef myself, so I could cook better in the temples and make better offerings. And I'd go to Rath Yatras, especially in LA, all the time, because that was always fun. I'd bring as many people as I could to that. But yeah, everybody just kind of went back into the system, trying to...
What year was that
make it
that
in the
Vishnu
material
John left?
74.
Okay, 3 years before.
Oh, 75.
2 years before Prabhupada left.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Prabhupada, once he heard that news, he became very depressed, and he goes, and I remember him saying that he didn't have to do that. I think his first words. So, and then I also heard Prabhupada saying that Vishnu John had come chanting to him after he left his body, chanting.
Yeah, I believe it.
Probably cruising in with Gandharvas.
I just read about that online.
Yeah?
About what?
Oh my goodness, that's
read about
so
what?
cool. Steve Perry is
Steve Perry is
the guy that's making these books.
the books.
The original 1972 Macmillans.
Oh, okay.
Speak up a little bit, Arjun. Your voice is kind of low.
Yeah. He just posted a couple hours ago this story, and I read it, and now I heard it.
Wow.
And I'm like,
Wow, amazing.
hair standing up. Wow.
This is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's absolutely a confirmation. You know that when there is a vibration, an uplifting vibration, especially for followers of Krishna, grab onto it. Grab onto that vibration and pull it in, and love it. Just Hare Krishna.
Yeah, it would like when you talk on your programs and stuff about what kind of bhakti? The
Raganuga.
Raganuga. Raganuga. That was standard. Our standard bhakti. We didn't know that there was any difference in Raganuga. Everybody would be just blissing out, the whole time. Falling down, getting back up. Everybody was playing some kind of instrument, and it just become tumultuous. We would actually spiritualize neighborhoods. People would come in at first and complain, "Why are you making so much noise at 4 o'clock in the morning?" And then a week later they'd be coming bringing us rosemary jelly or a rose jelly that they just made from there to offer to the deities.
Was Tamal Krishna kind of that way, or was he a little bit more intellectual type?
Yeah, he was more the intellectual type. He was, not that he knew anything more, but he was like reading the books a lot, and we would have class in the morning, and he would pretty much be giving class. Vishnu John didn't give too many classes.
Just saying.
Yeah. He was tuning up his harmonium. And but even then, Tamal would have to look through the books to find answers and stuff to give devotees. And I was Vishnu John sometimes would ask me to massage Tamal Krishna, but he said, "Be careful. He's very frail, and you can easily break him. So take it easy." And being the treasurer too is amazing because he was pretty rough on some of the younger devotees there on, anything that had to do with money, you had to really be on top of it around him. And I was the treasurer, and first of all, nobody could believe I wasn't even initiated then. and they said, "You better be careful. You got to sleep with that money belt, man. You got to take a shower with that money belt. You lose that money belt, you might as well hang yourself because tomorrow will hang you." Oh, wow. So, but he never raised a voice at me. Was always nice to me. I guess he knew he didn't want to get my temper going. But I was always good. I had to count all the money we had every day we made. I had to put that on the altar. That all had to be counted exactly. And deposits and one day we were short though, a couple $100. And it kind of blew my mind. I go, a couple $100. What could have happened to a couple $100? And one guy that we had just taken on, he was actually a school teacher. He had taken them and took off. And Tamal, I thought he was going to go through the top of the bus. "Call the police! We got to find this guy! Hurry up!" He was running around, and where do you look? So that was the only time. But I really was. I was hoping they would blame it on somebody else because I didn't want to be responsible for that. But that was the only time. But I was pretty good. I always made sure Radha Damodar got all the money because we had to spend it for Radha Damodar.
Sounds like a job, though. A little bit heavy on the money.
Yeah, well, it had to be. We had to make deposits all the time, so we wouldn't have too much cash around. But when the cash was around, you didn't put any safes. You had it on your body. The treasurer had it on his body. And I was like, 210 then. I was probably one of the bigger guys there, plus better shape than most people. So I could probably take 3 or 4 down with me if they want that money back.
Wow. Easy.
Yeah, those were fun days.
Hey. And 4 people still.
We manage money differently around here now.
Yeah.
Who else?
So maybe what do you guys want to do?
Do you have a kirtan?
Kirtan? Okay.
Done.
Kirtan? All right. Let's have
Okay,
kirtan.
the question is, do we want to have it with your thing or harmonium?
With what, my thing? What? Oh, harmonium is better. You play. Harmonium, and we got a drum. Who plays drum? You play drum?
Well, we got more than just a drum. We got a bunch of instruments.
We got a bunch of, so you can play mridanga.
We've been waiting to use
I got
these
tambourine in the
instruments.
car.
I got one here.
Oh, we got plenty of instruments here.
You even got one of these if you wanted it.
Oh, Ektar, that's one of my favorites.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah, but he's got to play the, you got to play
I had
the
a-
drum though.
I had
You got
a
to have the
custom
drum.
Ektar made in India with the big
Arjay,
gourd.
can you play the drum, Arjay?
No. Give him the drum.
Oh, I got an original.
Do you like those, or you rather have a mridanga?
I played this one.
This
Play
one?
this one? Go ahead, play that one.
Oh, that one. Oh, the throat. Whatever happened to the other drum?
We had, with the Radha Damodar, we had every instrument, but they were all mic'd up.
The other
We had
two.
one guy that all he did was mic up all the instruments.
Look, here's
So when we would play,
everything.
we were loud.
This is really loud, just so you know. There's here cartels. What do you play, Arjay?
I'll play cartels. There you go.
Do you have a regular
Regular what?
I have 3 pairs.
I just need one pair, you know.
I don't know which one you like.
I'll just take this one.
Arjay, this is kind of like.
There you go. You can play that.
Try that. You have to hold it in your hand.
Rattlesnake.
Well, we got to kind of stay where everybody can see. So, why that chair? Why are you taking that chair?
I just wonder where you had the camera.
No, the camera is better there.
Right.
Yeah. They could just see you. They see me all the time.
So, who's gonna play the drum?
I'm gonna. He's gonna play the drum.
Okay.
He's gonna play it. You can play that later. There you go.
Yeah, that was
We
one
need
of
a drummer.
my favorites. I've been trying to get I was going to make one, in fact, because there's a big gourd farm in They sell gourds all over the world.
Oh.
And
Well, we're gonna give that to you. You can. You don't have to make it. It's a present.
we'll go out of town here.
Can you move a little bit closer in here too? There you go. Right by where his feet are. There we are. Now we got everybody in. All right.
Is Karuna on?
No, I don't know. It's not. It's hard to say.
It says he likes it 4 o'clock, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It might be midnight over there. I mean, he likes
Was
it
that
4.
England?
Yeah. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama.
Lord.
Bravo.
Let me
Mercy of
do,
the Lord.
let me do one more.
Of course.
I think I gotta make sure these are.
I was gonna say, I smell something. I'm getting kind of warm.
We need some tambourine, a little more tambourine over there.
A little more tambourine. This
It's a little loud.
Yeah, we used to have these,
one? Play
Here's,
it.
this is quieter one.
we used to have all
Oh,
instruments
no, no,
mic'd
no.
up.
This one, or the purple one. You don't want the purple one.
What's this? No, I don't want that.
This is the one Gaurahari made up, and he's not. He doesn't remember he made it up. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Keep going, man. I don't want to do that today. I could do that any day.
I'm going to go back to my original song. Well, I'm just not feeling the bliss I do when I go with the temple devotees to the university. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Nityananda.
Oh, is there some of the devotees?
Oh, all devotees.
All glories, all the Vaishnava Buddhas of the Lord.
Christian and Krishna. Krishna and all devotees.
Glory.
Yes. All right. Yeah.
Hurry.
You sure you don't want to do a little bit of that, huh?
No.
You know what I mean by that, don't you?
The M8 kirtan. Hey, a little more water here.
Yeah.
Get up slowly though.
Who's that actor you remind me of?
Who? Me?
He's like a character actor, yeah, but
Character actor.
There's a couple of them. They're real characters.
it's just like it. He plays kind of a bad guy.
Sounds like me.
No, when what's his name off of The Office? When he first started growing out his beard, he looked just like Gaurahari.
No?
It's funny.
Anybody else need water?
No. Thank you.
There's soup here too. Just come get a bowl.
Why don't we read a little bit? You guys hungry or what do you think?
No, that's what I was waiting for. Actually, was a little
so Hare Krishna.
conversation with Caitanya-caritāmṛta.
Caitanya-caritāmṛta.
What do you want to hear? What books?
Bhagavad-Gita.
Whatever you can get the most nectar out of. Well, my favorite book, of course, is the Brihad.
Brihad Bhagavad-Gita? You like that book?
I've been trying to get everybody to read that because I said, that's where.
That's good stuff.
His name, Gopa Kumar, said he's squeezing nectar here.
Oh, yeah.
He's squeezing more nectar than the Srimad Bhagavatam.
I've got the book.
And
you got the book? Bring it.
And a lot of these devotees will look at me and go, what are you talking about? What book?
That's a great book. I quote that all the time, man. Yeah.
I used to go there at the LA Rath Yatra.
There's a bunch of books in the
When they were coming off the press.
It's in the car, but I have to find my keys.
Oh, keys? Okay.
When,
Don't I have
Oh,
keys?
you gotta sit.
Gopi Padanandana they were coming off the press. And I go, after I read the first one, I go, where's the next one? They're like, oh, another one, man, another one. I go, this is the nectar, man. This is the nectar.
Yeah.
Why doesn't anybody read this?
Yeah.
It's a spontaneous devotion.
Yeah. You like
So,
these? Spontaneous devotion.
No rules, talking about colors,
Yeah.
He's even telling God what he wants.
Yeah. So you like the spontaneous mood right from the beginning, huh?
I'm always spontaneous. Spontaneity.
Yeah.
Life is too short for anything else.
Was that more the mood was more spontaneous back then? You know, when Prabhupada was here.
I was thinking.
Yeah, well,
This is
especially
something
when
else. This is something else.
Yeah.
when you would chant, there was no I'm.
Look in that
more
box
bliss
over there.
now or more bliss later. Or this
Yeah,
one's better.
What box?
There's a box of books over there.
It's not there.
Oh, okay.
But
There's
it-
no
it's more
discrimination
likely
between
here.
types of bliss. You just went.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was
yeah.
it. You don't. There's no pre-bliss.
Yeah. So mainly Prabhupada's association, right? Because he was.
That had to be it. Because he would also talk about spontaneous all the time.
Yeah.
He would go, look, it's good, this body, to get you cleaned out a little bit,
Yeah.
get on track.
Really like that, yeah.
Get your mind and body ready for a little spontaneity. But once you understand the basics and you're, it's like anything. Like you're a carpenter. Once you understand how to use tools,
Yeah.
then it's not like, oh, you have to do this and you have to do that and you have to do that. You just build the house.
Yeah.
Because you already know.
Yeah.
Or you just-
Now that makes sense. I mean, that's basically what we preached. And Prabhupada was preaching that.
Yeah. And
How come they made a religion out of the Vaidhi thing afterwards?
well, because Vishnujan left, and there was somebody else who, everybody else was like intellectual.
Intellectual.
And then
Yeah.
when Prabhupada left, that just was like off the edge. That's okay. So we don't know anything else except Vaidhi. They had no choice. Nobody had the power. Enough power. The
Power.
people that had power left,
Yeah. Wow.
and they didn't want to fight. When they go, that's why they joined to begin with, because they didn't want all the stuff.
Yeah.
I could never go into a temple. I could go with the Radha Damodar, but I could never live in a temple.
Mm-hmm.
I just wasn't that rigid. I was, you know, I'm 73 today.
Yeah.
Today.
Wow.
You know who else's
Happy birthday.
You know who else's birthday is today?
Ah, who else?
Vas.
Oh, Srivas Thakur?
Yeah, he
Oh,
would
wow.
have appeared on the 28th also.
Wow.
It's a good month.
He's
I
incarnation
just turned
of
62 this month.
Really?
Narada
Wow.
Muni. Narada Muni. He's an incarnation of Narada Muni.
That's right, yeah.
So he cruised around playing Venus.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, right.
But yeah, there was only spontaneity. And once they lost that and their food, there's nothing left. Prabhupada used to preach. He goes, 99% of you are here because of food. I know it.
Mm-hmm.
I go, I know that. I come from a family that we had really good food.
Mm-hmm.
So I know what good food is. And I gave up that to eat this because I love ghee. And in fact, I almost OD'd on ghee before I really realized that you could OD on ghee.
Oh.
In Gainesville again, Amarinda, they had access to these farmers that would trade huge 60-pound cubes of butter for burfi.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So they had so much butter and ghee that everything they made was like floating in ghee, especially the grunga potatoes. The grunga potatoes would have about an inch of ghee on top.
Jeez.
So they were serving that out one Sunday feast. And I go, why don't you just pour some of that ghee off here in this cup, all spiced up?
Oh,
And
yeah.
I drank the whole thing. And I thought I just took, 50 mics of 500 mics of LSD.
Oh, really? Wow.
Back of my head felt like it just blew right off.
Wow.
I go, wow, man, this is wild.
Yeah.
But then I found out later that
Really
you
good
can OD
idea.
yourself drinking too much.
Ghee, yeah.
In fact, that's one good way to commit suicide.
Really, it's ghee,
I
huh?
think it locks down your liver or something.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Kidneys.
Well,
Clog 'em right up.
pick your favorite part out of there, and
Favorite part?
you can read.
No, I gotta have glasses.
Anybody want a monkey?
Don't you have glasses?
Well, they're in the car.
Well, go get you. Give her the keys. She'll go get them.
Where'd you get this pretty high?
What are you gonna get out of the car?
His glasses.
This is.
I got your glasses.
How did you get this pretty high?
That's how did I get that? I forgot already. But it's a good one.
Original manuscript there.
Yeah, it's like that. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Everything's locked up.
1995, it says.
That's an original manuscript.
Is it? Yeah, it might be.
It has to be.
I'll read the introduction. Srila Sanatana Goswami's Śrī Caitanya-caritāmṛta occupies a special place in the realm of Vaishnava literature.
Special place.
It is unparalleled in its delineation of Siddhanta, Rasa, Bhava, and Lila.
Unparalleled.
Its glories are limitless. And
Limitless.
it is without question one of the most beneficial books for the progressive sadhaka.
Ready?
Yeah, go get your keys or glasses.
It is divided into two parts, and both parts tell the story of a parivrajaka,
Parvajakacharya. Parvajaka?
that is, one who refuses the conforms of a permanent residence and constantly wanders in search of the essence of life. Well, I know somebody who constantly wanders in search of the essence of life.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think maybe you already have the essence of life.
You're talking about me?
Gaurahari Dasa. In the first part, in fact, you wander so much it's hard to keep up with you.
Just turn the camera on.
Wonder or wonder?
Wander. The Parivrajaka is Narada Rishi. Okay, that is Narada Rishi is one who's going to wander looking for the search of the essence of life. And that's what this book is about. And as he searches for the foremost recipient of Sri Krishna's mercy, so he's looking for who has most of Krishna's mercy.
Mm-hmm.
He approaches various exalted devotees and shows the gradation in their bhakti. That's the first part. In the second part, this Parivrajaka the wanderer, is Gopakumara. His spiritual search is described from the beginning stages of bhajan all the way up to the attainment of perfection. Should I continue? I think that's probably enough of an introduction.
Yeah. You can choose your favorite part out of there.
Oh, I don't know if I have any favorite. Well, here's my favorite
Here's the
part.
contents.
That's not the whole book. All 3 volumes, is it? No.
I don't know what it is.
3 volumes to this.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's got part 1 and part 2, but I don't know.
Part 2, yeah. Let's see, what was the best part there? Let's see. What's chapter 7, the ultimate
Oh,
goals?
yeah. Oh, there we go. Let's give him the microphone, too. You know what? Let's get it through here. Okay. And I'll move this a little more.
Want me to clip it on you?
Yeah, clip it on him. Although he might be a brahmachari, be careful.
He's been in massage school. He's been
Oh, no, really?
massaging ladies.
Oh, no, you don't do that. You got to only massage men, right?
Well, you know, the fascia is the
What if they, yeah,
the
but
fascia is the fascia.
they're going to pay, if they're going to pay, you're going to do it, right?
It's all skin, that's all, man. That's one thing you really learn about the massage is that the bodies are all the same, and you really you kind of lose that, thing that everything's different and this attraction because you see
Move,
it's just
move
all,
a little closer. You
it's all just bones and flesh, and it's just put in a different form. That's all.
Move that thing out of the way.
Great, really.
Yeah.
Good, really.
And the form is what is attractive. That's why Krishna is so attractive because of his form. He is the most attractive form. The 3-bend form. 46. Is this 46? Is this 46? But
So maybe
It might be part 1 instead of part 2. I don't know what you're looking for.
here, the 7th chapter, the Ultimate Devotees. 46. That's just like a paragraph like that?
Maybe it does.
Anyway,
Oh,
46.
That was saying page 46, so you need to go back. You're on page 48. So go back to page 46. There we go.
Okay. Yes, Parikshit. He is the key to this whole thing, Parikshit Maharaj. Sri Parikshit said, "Hey, mother." At once, the vibration of the distraught weeping of Sri Krishna and his associates pervaded the entire universe, giving birth to numerous dreadful calamities. Knowing that no one besides Sri Krishna could restore peace to the universe, 4-headed Brahma came there accompanied by his associates, all of the demigods and the personified Vedas and Puranas. Brahma saw that his father and guru, Mahanarayana, Sri Krishna, tormented by love for his dearest devotees, had fallen into an unprecedented condition. He could understand that the Lord was now anxious to manifest the hidden glories of the sweetness of his devotees, prema for him. Astonished, Brahma could not keep his composure and momentarily cried out. After carefully composing himself, he began thinking of a way to bring his master back to a peaceful condition. After some time, a plan arose within his heart. Then, after loudly calling Garuda, who was standing near Sri Bhagavan, weeping, to come to him, Brahma carefully said to him,
Do you know what the previous part of that story is, where leading up to that?
No.
You don't remember? Okay. I'll just, because people probably won't know.
Yeah, go ahead.
Wait.
I have it. Yeah. So, yeah, just to fill in why he's weeping and all that is ooh, yipes. Oh. I have to do it like this, I think. Take everything off. Just a second. All right, let's see.
I have to fix the camera here.
The camera kind of just... Hey, we're just
spinning
doing
them
some
out
twirls. We're twirling.
Can't you do that without having to go around like
No,
that?
I think you have to do that. Okay. All right, we're in now again. Let's put that microphone in.
Could you forward just a little bit?
Yes. Put that here. I do this. Okay.
Yeah, after loudly calling Garuda.
Yeah. So anyway, he's they're talking about him about his not going to Vrindavan. So, and he's sleeping, or so-called sleeping, but he's hearing the conversation. He's in the chambers, oversleeping, and and they're saying in the conversation, why doesn't Krishna go back to Vrindavan? And the gopis are there, all the residents are crying, and
He's in Mathura.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
He's in Mathura.
Yeah, he's in Mathura. Yeah, and they're crying and crying, and he's not. Yeah, and he's not. Be quiet. He's crying, and he's or they're crying for him, and he's not going. What is this? This is not right. So
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and people are saying different things, and so. Some are defending Krishna. Some are kind of criticizing him for it. And then Balaram, he's criticizing. He says, "Yeah, my brother, he's a hypocrite, man. He says he's going to go back to Vrindavan. He just looks in that direction. He says, yes, I'm going to go. Actually, I'm going there right now. And Balaram says he doesn't go. He says he's going, but he doesn't go. But he actually did go. Internally. All he has to do is look in the direction inside. Internally, he's in there. Krishna's God. He's God, right? Inconceivable potency. He can just,
Does whatever he wants.
Does whatever he wants, however he wants to do it.
He knows
he
the
can
outcome.
go there physically or go there just, by just looking and glancing over.
He really knows the outcome.
Yeah. So anyway, Balaram calls, he's a hypocrite. He says he's going, he doesn't go. He doesn't move from this spot. He stays right here and says, I'm going there right now. And then Krishna bursts into the room. He says, you're right. You're right. I'm such a hard-hearted person. He's bawling like, I don't give no mercy. I'm just so terrible, man. I'm attached to my wives here. They control me. I'm too weak. I can't go there. Stuff like that, And then he faints.
Oh, yeah, then Uddhava.
Yeah, and then they're all there, and then Brahma comes and has a plan. His plan is, let's take Krishna to Nava Vrindavan, the replica of Vrindavan.
Oh yeah.
See, and that'll bring him back to life. Otherwise, he's sitting there, in ecstasy. And they all make it like it's a bad thing, and the cry. No, it's the most auspicious thing. He wanted to give mercy, this to show everybody, and so anyway, and then he goes to this thing here, and that's now we're going to.
So they make this fake Vrindavan.
Yeah, fake Vrindavan.
It's amazing. Okay, let's see. Where am I at? Okay, so after carefully composing himself, he began thinking of a way to bring his master back to peaceful condition. After some time, a plan arose within his heart. Then, after loudly calling Garuda, who was standing near Sri Bhagavan weeping, two came to him. Brahma carefully said to him, nearby, situated between Mount Ravata and the ocean, Vishvakarma constructed a Śrī Vrindavan, which is adorned with, you're right there, adorned with murtis of Śrī Nandraya, Śrī Yasoda, and others, Nanda Araya, Śrī Yasoda, and other cowherd people, and many cows. It is so splendorous, it seems that it is directly the Śrī Vrindavan, which is situated within Mathura Mandala. While Sri Krishna and his elder brother are in this condition, very carefully and slowly take them there. Please take Rohini there also, but no one else. Sri Parikshit said, after Brahma had helped him to regain his composure with great difficulty, Śrī Garuda very gently and skillfully placed them both on his back. Brahmaji helped the Yadavas and all the other residents of Dwarka to regain their composure and sent them back to their own places. As Garuda was carrying Krishna and Balaram along, Balaram regained consciousness somehow. Arriving there, where it seemed that the gopis and gopas were directly present, Garuda gently placed Sri Krishna on a bed. Unable to leave Krishna while he was in that unconscious state, Uddhava, Padmavati, Devaki, who loved her son dearly, and queens headed by Rukmini and Satyabhama also went there. But at the request of Brahma, they stood at a distance and watched from a hidden position. Considering himself an offender due to having caused Sri Krishna to faint, Sri Narada, along with his Yadavas and the demigods, did not go there. Instead, attired like a yogi, Narada remained hidden in the sky from where he could witness the sweetness of Bhagavan Lila. Śrī Garuda also remained hidden in the sky, providing shade for his master with his wings. Then Sri Baladev, the crest jewel of the clever, fully regained consciousness and within a moment understood Brahmaji's intention. He quickly wiped Sri Krishna as well as his own lotus face, gently placed a flute in his brother's belt, and a horn bagel and a stick in his lotus hands, a garland composed of kandamba flowers around his neck, a crown adorned with a peacock feather on his head, and earrings composed of fresh gunja flowers in his ears. Having attired Sri Krishna in his forced dress, and these objects fashioned by Vishvakarma, Balaram forcefully lifted Sri Krishna up from bed and loudly said, "Hey, Krishna, hey, brother, get up, get up. Wake up and see, it is late. The cows are already entering the forest. Your friends, headed by Sudama, are waiting for you and overcome with affection for you. Your parents cannot even speak to awaken you. And seeing your lotus face, the gopis are whispering to each other's ears about how you are not awakening due to having spent the entire night with them. And are definitely cracking jokes at your expense." Sri Parikshit said, lovingly calling Sri Krishna in this way. Balarama forcefully lifted him up and shook him. After Baladev's immense effort to awaken him, after some time, Sri Krishna finally regained consciousness. Struck with wonder and saying, "Excellent, excellent," he quickly stood up. Fully opening up his lotus eyes, he smiled as he repeatedly gazed in all directions, and seeing the murti of Narada before him, he became shy and offered pranama. Seeing to one side the murti of Sri Yasoda, who out of affection was gazing intently at his lotus face, Sri Krishna laughed and gleefully said, "Hey, mother, this morning I have seen many peculiar dreams, which all seem so real. I went to Mathura and killed Kamsa, and by conquering Jarasandha and other kings, I gave happiness to the demigods. I had a great city named Dwarka, constructed on the shore of the ocean, and I cannot quickly describe to you all the rest. Due to the obstacle of these long, enchanting dreams, which seemed like ages, I was not able to rise at the customary time. Hey, brother, if you will not consider it to be a lie, when we go to the forest, I will call you in detail about these highly astonishing dreams which I have seen. Śrī Prabhupada said, after speaking thus, Śrī Krishna respectfully offered pranama to his mother. Then the intelligent Rohini, knowing his desire to take a lunch to the forest, said, "O child, please, you are her only son. Today your mother is worried about you. Sleep for so long. What is the need of speaking any more to her? The cows and your sakas have already gone far ahead, and you should quickly follow them. I will prepare your lunch and have it sent to the forest." Śrī Prabhupada said, hearing these words from the affectionate Rohini, Śrī Krishna offered pranama to her and, laughing like a thief, carefully snatched the fresh butter which was placed in his mother's hand. Then he called Sri Balaram, and because his mother had already gone ahead with the cows, out of love for him, Śrī Krishna did not eat the butter at that time. Then, with polite words, he requested both his mothers to arrange for his midday meal. After going further ahead, he spoke some joking words to the gopis. After stopping the cows with a vibration from his flute, he smiled as he came to Srimati Radharani, who was standing with her friends, and spoke these joking words. "O queen of my life, having now met your exclusive devotee in this secluded place, why do you not speak? Are you feeling jealous today?" "Yes, now I understand. Knowing everything, you have attained what I saw in my dream this morning. You must know how I left you, went to another place, and married many princesses. But please listen to the reason for it. They were extremely anxious to be married, and if I had not fulfilled their desires, they would all have certainly perished. I also begot many children and grandchildren. What has happened, happened. Now I must quickly proceed to the forest. O giver of satisfaction, tonight I will make you blissful." Śrī Prabhupada said, saying this, Śrī Krishna threw flowers on that murti of Srimati Radharani, Srimati Radhika, and after looking in all directions, kissed and embraced her. Then he proceeded until he joined the cows and the gopis. When Sri Devaki saw Sri Krishna going along playing the flute and dressed in his wonderful, remarkable, enchanting forest attire, none of which she had ever seen before, although she was elderly, out of love milk began to flow from her breasts. Any comments or
Yeah. Maybe you got a comment. Say something. I was in the bathroom for a bit, so.
Yeah, that's quite. I remember that part. That's quite a.
I was just wondering if starting at the beginning of the book would lead up to it, and make it more understandable or whatever.
Yeah.
From there.
What is it? Do you have like something that kind of sparked your interest there about something that or questions?
Well, no, well, yeah, it just so personal. Which to me, they get so personal with Krishna, which brings out that spontaneity automatically.
Yeah.
It's like you're right there, and it just boom. And Krishna doesn't, he doesn't pull any punches.
Yeah.
He just lets them fly, and tells her like it is, and how he enjoys, why he is the supreme enjoyer.
I'll make you blissful later.
You really start to feel that joy inside, and you go, wow. There's no way he's not God. Anybody could, could do this kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
But Prabhupada too, I'm so amazed at how he could condense the whole Srimad Bhagavatam in a few hours to his mother, Uttada. He said, I don't have time to explain all this, but I'll just condense it all and get her. I said, I can get you back home also.
Well, he actually did it through Sanatana Goswami, because this is a novel. Yeah, no, that's okay. This is actually a novel. It's not actually. It's a novel written, like in the novel form, but transcendental. Right. So he wrote this as a novel, but it's filled with all the most conclusive truths of Bhagavatam in a condensed form. So actually, he didn't speak this to his mother. It's just made up.
Prabhupada didn't speak to his mother. But wasn't his mother, in anxiety about...
Well, she might have been in anxiety, but he didn't speak this to... It's just a novel. It's a novel.
Oh, this is a novel by Sanatana that he created.
Yeah, he created, but he put in there, it's a novel, but it's transcendental. He put all the... esoteric truths of the deepest truths in there in that novel. So it's not really like a science fiction thing. It's eternal truth.
I was going to say, because I know these stories.
Yeah.
But they're really condensed.
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah.
like
It's
3 or 4 sentences.
Yeah.
We're going to be able to hear him.
But I know the whole story.
Yeah. They can hear. You can hear. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
I'm sitting here looking off into the air, and I'm actually...
He can hear. Yeah.
I'm actually seeing the whole story unfold. And I'm going, wow, it's just so beautiful. And I feel so choked up that I can hear the truth in it.
Yeah.
And even though I haven't heard all of them myself, I just, like you, took a sabbatical for a minute, and I come back, and all of a sudden, all of the vibrations are on such a high level that I feel like, wow, let's dive deep into this. This is like, my heart is just pounding, going, yes, thank you, Lord, because it's from one glory right into another, like a wave on the ocean. You're just, yes, thank you, Lord. May I have another? Whoa, back and forth on these waves, and the love. I mean, the love you can feel is so deep, and like you were saying, from one condensed little story, it just blooms into this huge memory, and then all of a sudden, he's going to the forest. I know that story. Boom, boom after boom, and it's just. I'm just very, very happy. Yes.
You also get that feeling that everything is like a play. And I was an actor for many years, and it's the same thing. You can create this illusion, on one side of the curtain, and then you pull the curtain, and it's just a bunch of regular people back there smoking cigarettes, It's the same thing. And they come out, and you're crying and going through all this emotion. But it's like a play, just like there. They made a false stage. The same thing. A false stage, and they're putting on a play. And Krishna's still the main character, of course, and all his personal associates, and they have this nice play going on, and then pretty soon Krishna say, okay, well, let's move this play somewhere else. Let's do something else. Just like life, you hear you doing a little acting and entering, and then boom, you go off to another play, another body.
Yeah. Well, that's In I think I caught something what you said. This is what I kind of gleaned from it. It was how natural, spontaneous Krishna is. He says to the gopis, he says, "Oh, I'll see you tonight. I'm really blissful." Who would actually say something like that? Man, that's nasty. Yeah. That's dirty. It's really dirty. And then I'll see you, hanky-panky.
Why can't
and you guys are all married too. See, but the difference is, this is all the deep truths. There's no fault in it. It's because Krishna, even though it's they're designed like man and girl and all that stuff, he's still God. And the gopis, they are also eternal devotees. And to have intimate dealings, which is all basically nothing to do with sex on the material level, because it's all up in here in the heart. And there's that intimacy that happens. So anybody who's a real devotee, that awakened, knows, well, the deeper ones anyway, knows that this is all in the matter of the heart level and very deep intimacy, which is even more ecstatic. It's more amazing. Yeah, and so there's no fault in it, but it sounds like, if you're a materialist, it sounds like material thing. Oh, that's pretty nasty, dirty, and all that.
Yeah, you're out of your mind. God could never be like that.
Yeah, but still, there's no fault in it because it's transcendental, and it's our nature to be intimate with God in our awakened state, and especially on the deepest level. Like here, it's the most condemned thing to be like have affairs. And people, they still love them. Even people will sacrifice president, their reputation, everything, to have an affair because it's so stimulating. It's extra stimulating. But that's on the material level. But so with Krishna, it's also extra stimulating to have these intimate dealings with others' wives, which is totally fine because we're actually all supposed to be with God anyway. So transcendentally, it's perfect. And there's no fault in it. And the same thing, Nityananda used to breastfeed off of, here Nityananda is an adult, and he's breastfeeding off of Malini Srivasa's wife's breast, and her breast was dry, and then it all of a sudden got milk in it. See, it's just natural relations. He was an adult, but to the world it seems weird. But it's not weird because it's natural and it's pure. Yeah, actually everything else is a little bit impure here. You breastfeed a child here, and that's okay. But still, you get more bound to the child, and then it causes the pain of separation and unions. The happiness of a bit of a union, separation, and then you get attached, and then you take another birth and have more children. And it just goes on and on. So that's not a great scenario. This is better.
And he tells the truth, to Radharani. I had to marry these queens, and I had to have all these kids and everything, and it's too bad. That's the way it is.
I got caught up in it. I was going to come back, but I got caught up.
Didn't you say before that this was all made up story?
Yeah, it's a novel, a made up story, but it's full of the eternal truth. So it's not really made up. It's
I don't know how anybody can make this up. The Sanatana had to have some personal realization for that. He can't, it's no regular person could make something like that.
No. That's what I mean. Is that it's like he was saying, it's condensed.
It's the truth. It's eternal truths written as a story. See, as a story, and you could even say the Bhagavatam. See, actually, as when this is deep stuff, when you actually start to experience the relationships in Vrindavan, you feel Radharani and Radha and Krishna are actually in your heart, awakening, and it's like then you understand what Krishna is thinking and Radha is thinking and feeling. Yes. See, and then you could actually write the pastimes, because that's happening in your heart now. You got the whole thing. You got Radha and Krishna living there and interacting, and our position is maidservant. Like, you see, maidservant arranges for the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. Right. See, so that's happening in your heart. You feel yourself like even chanting Maha Mantra is like you're arranging the pastimes of Radha and Krishna together. You're the maidservant, and you're bringing them together by chanting. That's detachment, actually. You just see, well, I'm just here to bring them together, and without Radha appearing in your heart, there's no realization of Krishna. See, and Radha is not happy without seeing Krishna and relishing Krishna's association. So that's self-realization. The Lord actually gives Himself in His full form of like Lord Chaitanya in your heart. And this is going on, just like the Lord. What do you think? Like a devotee, if this is what I was sharing, is if this kind of bhakti is going to be preached, again, it has to be preached like Lord Chaitanya. He relished intimacy with Krishna, so a devotee has to relish intimacy with Krishna before the public also, like he did. And then it becomes widespread. See, widespread. He did it, publicly. And Madhavinda Puri did it a little more privately, just he had his only certain disciples. But the Lord actually did it, He would go just into town, man, in South India, and he's just laughing and crying and just, having a wonderful time worshiping Krishna in that way. And people started to think, wow, that looks really amazing.
Yeah, so you're saying that he's getting direct knowledge from Krishna to write this story.
Direct experience.
Direct experience through the heart.
Yeah, and also confirmed by the scriptures in Bhagavatam. A lot of this stuff is in there. And he's put it all together in a condensed form.
Yeah, the 10th canto, that part where the Krishna and Balarama are going to Mathura, like what, 15, 16, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean that. See, I must have been there before, because as soon as I started reading that story, I go, God, I was there. You're like walking down the street like the two badass outlaws of all time, and their 44s in their belt,
Right.
Like the Wild Bunch, that movie at the end when they're walking down.
Yeah.
We'll take on anybody. We don't care. Yeah. Come on down.
Yeah. That's what they were feeling.
And they were throwing everything at him. Elephants, wrestlers, you name it. Everything was coming at him. They were just poof, poof, bam, bam.
What was that city you were in where you were going from bar to bar?
He was going from where?
Bar to bar.
Oh, in Pattaya Beach.
Pattaya Beach.
Pattaya Beach.
When you started doing that, I'm telling you, it was right out of the pastimes.
Oh, yeah.
When Nityananda was doing the same thing, and I had hair standing up all over me. I'm just crying like a madman, going, oh, Gaurahari, you're so fortunate, you get to live the pastime.
Yeah.
And I'm like, thank you. Yeah. Just thank you for allowing me to hear it and feel it. And know that story is being lived in this time. Talk about a time, place, and circumstance.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
you feel so grateful.
That's what it's about.
Really, it's hard to express. But when you get that little tiny piece of relationship, you just throw your hands together and say, thank you, Lord. Because I understand. may I have another? May I have some more? You know, and what's that English story about the little kid wanted more porridge?
I don't know.
He's a little thief kid.
Do you know that story? No?
Oliver Twist.
Oliver Twist.
Oliver Twist. And, you know,
Never read it.
I felt like I had a little bowl of porridge.
Ah.
And I'm going, oh, it's almost gone.
Yeah.
Don't stop, you know, keep going.
Yeah.
You know, and then when you walked out of that last bar, you said, well, I've got to get some rest, you know, like you usually do. I go, yeah, I'm pooped. I got to get some rest too. You know, it's just that kind of association.
Yeah.
And the vibrations, and when you let them, you know, let them in the right way, you know, and you can feel it.
Yeah.
You know, and just wow, you know, you get so excited.
He was going from bar to bar.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't see those things?
Chanting Hare Krishna.
Hey man, it's like the old days. I would have my M8, man. I was just going all over all the prostitutes and.
It was right out of the Bhagavatam.
Yeah.
You know, just boom, boom, boom. It was amazing, and I was in.
I was going all over different India and everything. Go around the tourist places. It was great. I mean, people loved it.
Washington State.
Yeah.
You know?
About a year and a half ago.
Or no, I was in Iowa. Yeah, Iowa. Yeah. Sitting in my truck.
Yeah. That's right, in your truck. Yeah.
Sitting in the truck dancing.
Yeah, it's all on the. We got to pull out the. Yeah, I'll go through them and put them out again. The videos, they're really interesting. I think I might have been fasting at that time too.
Either right before or right after.
Yeah, because I did 2 times. I did before and after. So
They
I did a 30-day fast at that time, and that was in Pattaya Beach, and I was going around.
Truly amazing.
30 days.
To experience the vibrations and realize that story was alive. You know, it's just like a play.
Right.
Only you're actually seeing it happen in a live video.
Well, that's what he's doing. He's a good actor. Great actor. Gotta be an actor.
Yeah, Krishna is the best actor.
Yeah, truly amazing.
Yeah. Let me see that a little bit. Let me check it out. Yeah. I'll show you my favorite part here.
His favorite part.
I have a favorite part here. I read this all the time.
Oh,
this is the last one, where he realized he attains Vrindavan.
Yeah, after going through all
that stuff, and then he finally attains Vrindavan.
And everybody.
I read this over and over again.
He's walking down the field and he sees these people working there.
Yeah. It says the fulfillment of the long cherished desires. I'll read some of this now. Okay, let's see.
Oh yeah, that's a good one where Krishna passes out when he meets him.
And all that.
Everybody's like, "What the heck did you do, man?"
Sri Gopakumara said, this is fulfillment, chapter 6, fulfillment of long cherished desires. Sri Gopakumara said, "Hey Brahman, coming to this Vrindavan and following Narada's instruction, in a sweet voice, I began chanting the names of my dearest Sri Krishna, as well as meditating on singing about his pastimes. Remembering the condition of my heart and the bhav that arose inside me." See, the bhav that arose, this is real Krishna consciousness. This is the Goswamis. They know all about this. And this is the fulfillment of all our long charities, to have this bhav, this devotion arise inside us. Because this reveals the truth about Krishna. Otherwise, it's only Krishna in name only. We just got Krishna. It's just Krishna, Hare Krishna. That's why you see people, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. See, the bhav has to arise. That means, the Lord has to give himself to you. He has to give his most cherished treasure, which is bhakti. because that binds us to Him. That is the only thing that is the binding force between the transcendental form of God and ourselves, our relation, is this bhakti. See, it was the most greatest treasure of God. That's the pearl of great price that Jesus was talking about. Remembering the condition of my heart and the bhav that arose inside me, upon seeing his lila stalis at the time, I feel a little bashful.
Is that you bashful, or is that the story
No.
bashful?
The story.
No. Did you see what just happened to him? I know that is.
How can I possibly describe that condition to others? At that time I felt extremely aggrieved, and I passed my days and nights crying pitiably. I could not determine whether the spiritual practices which I had been observing for so long were giving me happiness or drowning me in an ocean of sorrow. That's that, when you see devotees, they're chanting in ecstatic love, it's like, are they really blissful, or are they miserable? You can see that's a union separation sometimes experiencing in the chanting, Maha Mantra. It's like, are you sure? What is this? Why do I want to, But it's, so he's saying this is, See, Sanatan could describe this because he's experiencing these things. See, and a devotee can relate to it that has such experiences. They say, oh yeah, well, that's how it is, man, yeah. See? So, I could not determine whether I was residing in the middle of a forest fire or I was submerged in the nectarian cooling waters of the Yamuna. Sometimes I thought that I must have fallen into the nave.
Yeah. You making offerings?
This is your bowl.
Yeah.
Here's your bowl, boy.
Uh-huh.
Your bowl.
There's the altar there if you want to make an offering.
Do you want any tea or coffee or something?
Oh, there's the
I have a beer.
Bhagavad-Gita.
No. Just joking.
Any IPAs? No.
You want some tea or coffee?
I still got my drink here.
Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah. So I could not determine whether I was residing in the middle of a forest fire or if I was submerged in the nectarian cooling waters of the Yamuna. Sometimes I thought that I must have fallen into the hands of a knave who was drowning me in that great ocean of unhappiness, where I could not trace even the scent of happiness. Thus I resided in this way in the very kunj, which is like the ornament of Vrindavan. And that's the separation. Sometimes it's like that, it's like you can't even, there's no happiness. It's like the Lord disappears, or Radharani, the bhakti just disappears. Ever feel that? Just gone.
Flies away. Yeah.
It's just like, is this going to come back?
Sometimes for months and years at a time.
Months and years for you? Oh boy. That would be a drought.
How about lifetimes?
Yeah.
Sometimes it just literally, you can feel it leave.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you start chanting, and it's like a little magnet.
Mm-hmm.
And the steel particles are starting to come back to you.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden he slams you with a big, blast of bhakti, and you just can't be more thankful.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
That's the feeling of experiencing Krishna.
Mm-hmm.
And the
Maintain your
the
composure.
expression, yeah, it's tough. Trust me.
The world is watching.
Take another drink.
The world is watching.
Because it is that relationship. It's that understanding that if you can try to express for others how the Lord pulls your hands up and fills you with the mercy. And to try to maintain a vocal response is sometimes very difficult. Like right now, I want to laugh, I want to cry.
Good.
Go
for it, man. Hey, man.
Yeah,
we're amongst friends here.
That's what I mean.
Got a napkin over here?
Yeah, well, I'm good. That's why I asked earlier. I'm prepared. I'm a good Boy Scout.
That's right. Yeah.
But the entire understanding and having that that Raga relationship is difficult for a lot of devotees to understand until it happens. And then, they start running around like madmen. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Well, yeah, it's exactly like that. You feel like you just went insane for just a minute. And then you realize that's the love of God awakening in your heart. Thank you. And what more can you say other than I love you, Lord? Thank you. This is what I've been wanting for all my life. And once you get past 60, you start worrying about, do I have to come back again? And you realize, no. You've attained that position where your next life is going to be with the Lord. Why worry about it anymore? Just read me the stories. Let me hear some more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So.
But what's even more amazing is
where's the mic? Yeah.
Is the power of Maya. That she. I know that I was completely liberated of all karma when I took initiation from Prabhupada. From Prabhupada in 75. I didn't realize it though. I just took it for granted that everything was perfect and I always felt blissful and everything was just like falling into my hands and the best everything before I even asked for it was there. Even before I was waiting to be initiated in Chicago, there must have been a couple thousand people in this place, and there was so much incense you couldn't even hardly see your hand. Prabhupada was sitting there. They had 4 deities of Lord Chaitanya being installed by Prabhupada, plus the regular Chicago deities. Cameras everywhere. There was a guy in the corner chanting Hare Krishna. I'll never forget. He just put me in direct bliss. He was like 100 feet away, way on the other corner. Light was coming down through the high clear store windows through the incense, shining right on the Lord Chaitanya deities. And I'm waiting to be initiated. And next thing I know, I'm up on the ceiling looking down. And I go, how did I get here? What am I doing up here? I just left because there's nothing to hold me. The sound vibration was so tumultuous. And obviously I was free of all sin after chanting Hare Krishna with Vishnu John for a year. And carrying Radha Damodar and Pelicans on my back through everywhere. And I was floating in the first thing that comes to you, and though I could see perfect, I could hear perfect. First thing that comes is fear. Just a second of fear came, and I'm back in my body. And then when I was initiated, it was a whole comic dissertation between Prabhupada and myself, and Brahmananda and Tamal Krishna. Do you ever heard that thing?
No, go ahead. Yeah.
I come walking up there. I'm like really spaced out. from everything. Just what happened to me. I just went up and came back, and I'm standing there, and Prabhupada was looking at me going, "You got a rip in your dhoti." He goes, and I had a little tiny rip at the bottom, and I thought I hid it way behind a bunch of folds. And I go, "How in the hell do you see that?" and Prabhupada says to Tamal, "Why don't you buy?" No, Tamal said, "Oh, they work so hard, Bill. They work really hard." They used to call me Mahadev. Mahadev, he builds buses. He's the treasurer. And Prabhupada said, "Well, why don't you buy him nice dhotis? Why do you have him walking around with ripped dhotis?" And Brahmananda says, "Well, because Tamal's too cheap." Everybody's laughing the whole place. I'm standing there going, "Oh my God." And Prabhupada looks around, grabs the beads. "All right, Kamalakanta, here you go. That's you." Kamalakanta was a servant of Śrī secretary, treasurer too. He was a treasurer of Śrī. You probably read, he made a major offense that he got ground up for by Lord Chaitanya. And he almost committed suicide.
Who is it?
Kamalakanta.
Really?
Ninth.
That's the name for, that's where your name's from.
Ninth Kanta. He was secretary of Śrī. Paid bills.
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
Vishvas.
Okay.
Kamalakanta Vishvas.
Yeah, Vishvas. He was a bolya.
Yeah, and he got ground. Chaitanya ground him up bad.
Yeah.
He came back to Śrī and said, I'm going to hang myself. Yeah. Well, hold it there. I'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. And he goes to Chaitanya and says, "You give Kamalakanta more mercy."
Yeah.
When I was speaking my Vedic philosophy, you only beat me with a stick.
Yeah.
But Kamalakanta, you throw him out of your association.
Yeah.
And then he made a big joke out of it. So.
Is the Brahmananda you're speaking of, is that Keitham?
The original Brahmananda, the one that first.
I've heard a story.
First of all, yeah.
Just like that from him.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
So now you know I'm telling the truth.
Oh. I have just got goosebumps all over. I mean, this is just so amazing.
And then as soon as I got my beads, Vishnu John goes, "Boy, that's a nice name." But anyway, and you have it all, and you let it, and you don't realize you got it, and you take it for granted. And as soon as you take it for granted, Maya will snatch you back and throw you back in the material world so fast, make your head spin.
Did you have that experience?
Yeah.
Really? How did you take it for granted?
Well, I took all that for granted, that everything was perfect, and then you start to get puffy, for some reason. It comes out of nowhere. It's some little defect. Right. You're still working on that. Maya's working on that. We'll find that one little speck of dirt.
Look what happened to Brahma.
and blows that little speck of dirt up, and you come puffed up and go, "Oh, I can create this anytime. I can be blissful anytime." But you can't. It's only special circumstances, special conditions, and a special state of consciousness.
Like it was back then.
Yeah.
After that, it kind of.
It's real hard. I chant and everything, and I still get blissed out. But because I was associated with so many really pure type devotees. Jayananda, he was hanging out with us all the time, and these people that are just, they're oozing with transcendence. Right, yeah. And everybody on Radha Damodar was just such nice devotees. They were all spontaneous devotees, just ready to bliss out at any moment. Leave their body. They could have just left right there if they wanted to, probably.
I mean, I heard that too. Like after Prabhupada and these devotees, kind of scattered.
Yeah, there was never any fighting. Nobody ever argued. It's just total, a state that is very rare to come about. You have to be an associate of Chaitanya. You're in a special envelope of consciousness, and you get away from that, and A little different, further you get away. And Maya will throw every illusion she can at you. Really? But it's good because you got to vet. You got to be constantly vetting yourself. Vetting means, looking for what might be wrong, or what are you doing wrong? It's just, how is this going to help me become more blissful? Like, when they vet people for coming to this country, talking about vetting, or anybody, how many people have you killed? How much drugs have you? How many bomb people do you know? So that is because I remember at the end there, we were in Laguna Beach. In fact, we used to set up there on the main beach, and we have 4 buses there, just all mic'd up instruments, Vishnu John chanting, and just thousands of people. They bring their instruments, and it'd just be tumultuous. And then we were all hanging out in Bluebird Canyon. I don't know if you know where that is. A little bit going on that road that goes out of town there. Bluebird Canyon, where Timothy Leary used to make all his LSD. Anyway, we had all the buses in that canyon, and there was a couple houses there, and we were doing some repairs on the buses, doing some custom work on them. And I was kind of falling back because my parents had a house in San Clemente, and they took off, and they wanted me to look after their house where they were gone, so I was kind of going back and forth. And Vishnu John personally asked me to take over the books again and make sure that everything was good. And I kind of, shunned them. And that really works on me too, because I was like, now I think, how could I pass up an opportunity like that from Vishnu John? In fact, he would give me everything. He'd give me stuff. All the other boys were getting jealous. He'd give me his vest that everybody wanted, his vest. He'd give me stuff, and they go, "Why is he giving that stuff to you?" And I'd take it for granted. See, and that's just like Judas. You take it for granted, you get in trouble.
Well, you didn't know at the time,
Got a few more lifetimes to go through.
Yeah, maybe not.
I think that's how the Maya gets to us. Is the taking it for granted is like a Maya.
Right.
It's definitely Maya. And maybe that's what's happened with me. I had some little bit of taken for granted too. Maybe that's why I had such a dry spell.
Yeah, it makes you believe that you can create yourself, that you have the power to create this situation. No.
Out of the blue one day when I was at the university kirtan, I usually would go there and they would always let me lead some, and then there would be others that would lead too. But this one day I went there and they were already started well, and there's a wonderful devotee there. They've actually named her Chaitanya Leela, and she was playing, and I just had a particularly tough week or two, and God, just hearing the kirtan, I was like, if that day what I experienced, I was like starting to cry, and I was like jumping and dancing around. I mean, just immediately when I walked up, And if that's what you experience all the time, I could use some more of that,
Yeah.
But like the other day, 2 or 3 days ago, I saw that old video of Rangaleka in Mayapur with his mouth wide open, and he's just like, and I just got like 2 or 3 seconds of a little bhakti from that. And it's just like...
Well, you should go to the temple more and do those things. That's where it's... So why get into your head about it,
Well, at the moment, and that's what happens is that, with the Maya, I start thinking about the money, and then I get the job, and now the job's taking me away from that. And then when the job's done, that's going to be done, and, I have to...
What do you mean that's going to be done?
Well, they're as far as they go to the university twice a week, and so, but you know.
It's not only you. Don't they have kirtans at the temple?
On Sunday night, yeah.
Yeah.
But I've never, and I've experienced it like that, but that one day, that one time at the university, I've never experienced it quite so profound.
Well, it's not like it's always going to be like that, you know.
Well, I kind of thought I experienced it because my weeks, 2 or 3 weeks preceding that, I was really, really having a tough time, with life and stuff. And so I was particularly open to it, I guess, Anyway.
Yeah. Prabhupada says the Maya will get in between the Hare and the Krishna. That's how vigilant she is.
Between the Hare and
Boy,
the Krishna?
That's right from the horse's mouth.
Well,
between the Hare and the Krishna. So,
yeah. Well, actually, the Hare that's that devotion. See, they need that blissful, ecstatic devotion.
Okay, so then what's the Krishna? If Hare is the devotion, what's the Krishna?
Well, the Krishna is the sweetness of this and the truth of this.
Devotion,
Relishing,
the sweetness to the truth.
Yeah, the relishing. It's like it makes Krishna appear that these are the actual. You just relish the truth about Krishna and the sweetness and all it just is revealed with devotion. See? So Maya gets in between that, actually she can't really get in between that, because if devotion awakens, she just will burn up. If she ever, it would just dissipate.
Well, you'll find a little discrepancy in there. Maybe you're not real serious about this. And she'll test you. See how serious you are about chanting these names and tasting bliss. When you could be down there surfing.
But that sounds like Prabhupada. You know what I'm saying?
Walking on the beach one time. Were you in Laguna there? Not before you. They were walking on the beach with Prabhupada in Laguna, and a lot of devotees were ex-surfers. And they go, Prabhupada, isn't that bliss out there surfing? Look at those guys out there surfing. Isn't that bliss walking on water like that? Prabhupada said, yes, it is bliss, but it is temporary.
Well, when Jesus walked on water, then there was never mention of any bliss involved with it.
He never bored.
Well, it was a magical thing what he did.
In many of the lectures that I listened to on Prabhupada's website, there are little statements in there like that that all of a sudden you're going, huh? What did he say? And you play it back and you go, oh, one of those V8 moments. Why didn't I understand that before? Well, it's the vibration.
Yeah.
When that vibration hits your ears and then goes into your heart, that's when the realization happens. And you go, I feel so stupid, because it was right there. All I had to do is reach out and bring it in.
Yeah, you can't be mechanical. If you're too mechanical,
you just got to let it flow. And once it starts flowing, then it's Ganji's time. Like you say, grab your board. We're going surfing. That's that. Wow. Yes, Hare Krishna.
Yeah, you were talking about board. Did you ever hear a story of Krishna John took a raft down the Ganges all the way from the headwaters of the Ganges all the way down? How far? Just before I joined, wish I would have known it before that. I would have liked to do that.
Was that time when he was chanting or something?
Nobody's making any comments about the mic, are they?
No.
He would stop by different little villages and make this popcorn stuff with sweet popcorn and hand it out. And he was like, pretty tall. He's about 6 foot and white and chanting blissful Hare Krishna. They thought he was some demigod every time he'd come floating in and cruising down, floating down the Ganges on a raft. Amazing, yeah.
All right, a little bit more here.
I was just reminded of the story of Gaurahari Dasa, a poster of his. I want to share this.
Okay.
Because when you said he was on a raft going down the Ganges, I remember one of the first times I went to India was we went to Rishikesh. And in Rishikesh, there is a big suspension bridge that goes across the Ganges, and much of the city's on one side and much of the city's on the other side. So people are always going back and forth on this suspension bridge. And so in the more business hours, like when the traffic's 8 a.m., everybody's on the road, well, everybody's on the suspension bridge, and it's like moving because it's so full and cram-packed, people trying to get going. So anyway, this one time, and sometimes it's really empty, so this one time it was like not very full, and we had just gotten posters together to post of Gaurahari going to start some classes. And so I was taking them from one side of the town and started going across the suspension bridge, and I'm looking at it, kind of looking at the poster, and all of a sudden a monkey swoops down, and he goes like this. He starts smacking it. He just goes like that, and then he jumps up on the rope of the suspension bridge and sits there and looks at me like, don't you say nothing. And then I was like, what was that all about? And I just kept going. But anyway, that was a real fun moment. Must have been a past life thing between that monkey and Gaurahari.
Maybe something like that.
And me.
Okay, very good.
I think it's getting to be that hour where you're winding down.
Yeah, I think I'm winding down.
Yeah, that was very good readings there. Those.
Can I serve you some soup? Want some soup?
Yeah.
Oh no!
So are you? Yeah.
Alrighty.
That was
Okay.
more than adequate for me.
So you're going to school now?
Yeah, I just started Cordativa in January.
Cordativa? What's that?
Cordativa massage. For the #1 massage school in probably United States. They're all Tucson. They got one in Phoenix. They got Nevada, Las Vegas, Nevada, back east. They're owned by Steiner, that owns a lot of these that owns the big cruise ships and stuff out of England. And they they need masseuses on these ships.
Oh, so you're going to go on the ship, huh?
Possibly. They say you can make some good money because, you're dealing with tourists. They're going to leave big tips. You don't have to pay your room and board, food. If I can do that for a little while, then I'll get enough money. I can go to Goa, India, and be happy.
Go where? Goa?
Somewhere in the foothills up there.
Yeah.
And
India is great.
If I can get about $100,000, I can get me a nice little rock hut up there and leave it and spend the rest of my life in bliss with some swamis up there. Yeah. Himalayan swamis. And,
up in the Himalayas.
Yeah, or the nice hot springs there too, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Goa's in the south.
Yeah.
You've been to India.
Actually not.
No, you've never been there?
I've done my way there a few times.
You never made it to India? No kidding. That's amazing.
I've met quite a few devotees that haven't gone to India yet. I don't get it. I feel bad.
Yeah, I got stopped many times trying to go somewhere, but for some reason Krishna doesn't want me to. Maybe I wouldn't come back. That was the problem. If I go someplace, I don't like to come back.
And get a 10-year visa for India.
No. What can you get? 10 years?
Yeah,
a passport?
Yeah. You have a passport, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you get 10-year visa.
Can you take any weapons over there? You got
no weapons. No.
You can't take no iron.
No.
What about? Can you buy anything over there?
No. No, you don't want to even mess with that because they throw you in an Indian jail. You'd be miserable.
Their laws are totally different than here.
Oh yeah.
We're only the fourth nation left out of all the nations that even allows weapons.
Yeah.
I mean, the majority Well, especially New
Pretty good.
Zealand with that thing that happened last weekend.
Jeez,
Yeah. 49 people got shot up. And if you get caught with this video, you go to jail.
You're kidding? Why?
In New Zealand.
Oh, in New
Yeah,
Zealand.
I can't.
Yeah, they can't do it to us there.
Oh,
But in
here
New Zealand,
in New Zealand, you get
if
caught.
you get caught with that video,
Did you make the video? You have the
I
video?
have a copy of it.
Me too. I got it in India when I was coming over.
Yep.
There was a guy there who said, "This just happened."
What video?
The video of the shooting.
They were shooting in
That was
New
weird,
Zealand.
man.
I've never seen it.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
trust me, you really don't want to.
You see, if they had to have a couple guys in there that were, security, undercover security, immediately would have taken that guy out.
Yeah.
So
They
why they blame it on guns?
Yeah, yeah.
You just need to have armed people undercover, like marshals,
Yeah.
in public areas.
Oh, you ought to hear the devotees online. Oh, it's the guns. It's the guns. No, it's the people. Guns don't do anything without people.
Yeah.
You
Gun.
use your brain.
If you don't have a gun, you can use a machete or something else.
People can't do that either without the guns. I'm an anti-gun person. Sure.
I'm a patriot.
I'm a former Marine. What can I say? You know, I don't have a weapon. Don't really want one. Don't really need one. But I know how to use one. You know, and I think that is more important than having one. You know, that way, if I need one, I can get one. And I can use it. You know.
Are we still alive?
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of changes now. These new weapons, they're pretty fancy. You have to
Yeah, that's what they're complaining about, though.
get used to them. Even the handguns, they have all kind of safety stuff on them. You can't even hardly shoot it unless you really know what the heck you're doing. Somebody take your gun, they couldn't pull the trigger.
Yeah.
You gotta unlock this, unlock that, unlock
You got to
this.
squeeze it in a certain
By
way.
then, somebody's already shot you. So what's the use of having it? Yeah.
But there was only 60 men who stood up for this country in the beginning. 60 men only out of this whole country took on the redcoats. And
I thought it was
they walked out of
89.
they walked out of Sam Adams' bar when Paul Revere said, "The redcoats are coming down the street." 3,000 special forces redcoats, heavily armed. 60, I don't know, maybe 89, of regular guys with Kentucky long rifles.
Well, supposedly only 30 of them went across the street right there. The other 60 went around them. The Indian-style way of fighting.
Maybe that's why they shot them all. But 60 guys took on
Why they
3,000. Everybody else said, no, we can't conquer the British. They're too big and powerful, the most powerful army in the world.
Surprise.
And why did, Washington and Jefferson, they didn't have to be anywhere. They could have, they're rich guys. They don't have to do anything.
And Vrindavan, it's only Krishna and Balaram that do the killing, right? Nobody else.
They
So is
killed,
Krishna and Balaram.
Yeah.
how many
Even
people
now.
they kill in 20 minutes there in Mathura? About 500 people. I know they killed all the guards.
Oh yeah, I don't know how many. Never seen the
Of
set.
Kamsa, all the guards, all the wrestlers, elephants.
Anyone who was on his side.
Anybody who said the wrong thing, bam!
mean, Kurukshetra was what?
750 million.
Something like that. with nothing more than a blow of a conch shell. That's my way of doing it.
Well, it actually represents Maya. How she's always. If you go against the transcendental manifestation of God, you're just going to get destroyed. And that's what everybody. That's the curse they talk about in the Bible. Being under the curse is you take, you die, and then they don't know about the rebirth. It's not explained, but you die and you live and you die and you live, all because you don't accept the transcendental form of the Lord. Okay? Because you don't have, you need that bhakti to accept it. Otherwise, you just won't understand it or feel relation with it.
You immediately fall into the lorded over.
Yeah, and that's why a savior. The saviors are needed. Saviors, they awaken that spirit of devotion, and in the parampara, in the line. So that's how the Christians keep something going. Is they have some semblance of the spirit. This Holy Spirit they call. This is makes God appear attractive. The Bible and
Anyway, you can't really find any fault either with Jesus, but they don't really know anything about him. No, that's the problem. They can't find any fault with him, so they get a little taste, but they haven't really studied this person, what he really did. Now they say he never died on the cross; that he went to
I just heard that.
He went back to India, Kashmir up there. Yeah, he came out of, and there's temples up there of him.
Yeah, there's a lot. That's I started to get these realizations that what is this thing that's necessary that Jesus died for sin? It sounds to me that's just a Jewish thing.
Mm-hmm.
See, this they have to have blood. You have to kill something, and as a sacrifice to get rid of sin. So that's what they did, and so they made Jesus that. And that's why you can be saved. But you see, when you look at the Vedas and the saints in our lines, they didn't have to die to save you. You just needed their association. And even in the Bible, when you read the New Testament, Jesus didn't say that he had to die. He said, if you just believe in me, so just believing in him, that you would get the Spirit. But what's this but? I don't like buts. How about ands?
There is something when you really the experience of knowing that, like, I was a part of having him crucified.
Mm-hmm.
That right there is, you can feel so remorseful and so bad about that situation that I think can be a kind of like a sin removal too, to some degree. That kind of those things just attached to that. So there's value in that also.
Well, actually, I more conclusively is what the Vedas say, that you hear the name and the pastimes and the qualities of the Lord by exalted devotees. Exalted means they have taste for Krishna, and that eradicates sin. That's really the more conclusive understanding. Not that Jesus died. I mean, that's why Christians can't accept Krishna or these personalities, incarnations that have come here. They say, well, did they die for the sins of man? Jesus did. See, that's inconclusive. That's like saying, it's like it has to be done this way for God to work in this world. See, they have to be accomplished, that you have to be on the cross, and it was Jesus the only one who did that. But actually, the essence of the truth is persons that have preached, like Hari Das was preaching ecstatic devotional service, and he was whipped in 21 marketplaces. That's kind of a crucifixion. As a matter of fact, he died, and then resurrected. They couldn't kill him, and he said, well, I can die. I'll die, and because they said, hey, if you don't die, they're going to kill us, for not, He said, oh, okay, I'll die. And they threw him in the river, and he came back to life. Hey, there you go. If you need a crucifixion, but did people need that for them to be saved? No, it's by the association of liberated souls. See? And that's really the essence, and that's the conclusiveness. And that's how, hey man, just because Jesus came here and he was a liberated soul and he was empowered to preach a message of the confidential truths, in the Bible, to reveal what was in the Bible, those meanings, you'd be saved by that. And the same thing with see, now that makes sense. That shows you God is working congruently in saving people, as Jesus did, and as Lord Chaitanya did, and as people are being saved now. We're actually doing the same kind of thing, practically here in 2019, saving souls by that principle. You know, we have devotion awakening in people. That's your, you know, if you, I quote this all the time. Did you hear me say this before? I'm just curious because I quote this all the time. That Brahma says in the Bhagavatam that if you evince the symptoms of devotion, tears in the eyes, hair standing on the head, choking of the voice, you don't take another birth. You're promoted to the kingdom of God. See, that's Bhagavatam says that.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. So if that is happening, and say in the preaching, because you're preaching according to the conclusiveness of the Bhagavad, the book, and that's happening, that means then that's the real principle. See? You don't have to die for somebody's sins to save them. No, you just have to be a liberated soul. You have to chant the holy names, you know, with devotion awakening, you see, and reveals the truth about God, all these revelations, and preach it, and then boom, people get delivered.
Okay. Excellent.
See? That's happening in our Sangha. I mean, people are being delivered. And they're vocally standing up and say, yeah, you know, I was Vaidhi Bhakta, you know, and for 25 years, for 40 years, for 50 years, and now, after 4 or 5 readings of the Bhagavad, now I understand. See, that's because Bhakti is awakening now. It reveals the truth of the Bhagavatam, you know. They're delivered. See? If you believe the Bhagavatam. I do.
I just read in excerpt that Srila Prabhupada, you know, always revered Jesus.
Yes.
And Kamal asked Prabhupada, you know, well, what about this dying, you know, for saving sins? And he says, you can't kill Jesus. You know, and I was reading it, and I'm going, oh, Prabhupada, you know, what do you mean? You can't kill him. It's a human body. But it's a spirit-filled human body.
He's totally liberated, so
Exactly.
what can you do to somebody who's totally liberated?
Purified, liberated. I can't even talk right. But yeah, exactly. And to see that his devotees are still to this day respecting that union like you do, you know, with your preaching, you know. All you got to do is try to understand it. I mean, was it Hardas that kept getting killed, or?
Oh yeah, whipped in 21.
Yeah, kept getting whipped. You know, when I heard that story, I go, oh, wait a minute, that's just like Christ. You know, they, yeah, they tried to kill him on the cross, but he came back, and he was seen again, and he left, and he came back, and he was seen again. You know, no, you can't kill the spirit. You can't kill a soul, no matter, you know.
Yeah, and you know, yeah, it's like Prabhupada said, I will live forever through my books. And basically when the preaching of a devotee preaches in the world, that's how, because it's spirit. This is just a body. And if a devotee is preaching in this world and leaves that legacy, it's always there. You always have that association. See? And that purification, actually. That's why the Goswamis wrote books. Yeah, and the Bible is so potent. It's just filled with, you know, like, you know, these stories of spirit-filled persons.
Well, it seems like Jesus was preaching right out of the Srimad Bhagavatam.
Yeah.
He's just dumbing it down a little bit.
Yeah.
For time and circumstance.
Exactly.
Dumbing it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly how I always thought about it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't make up stuff, so you just have to take the knowledge and present it to who your audience is. Students are, you know, the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost, Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan, you know, trying to get it so people can understand there's different features of the Supreme Person.
He said, I have more to tell you, but you can't hear it. I mean, you know, actually, that's why the Bible works, is it's conclusive if you understand it in the light of the Vedas especially. I mean, when he talks about, I'm the way, the life, and the truth, no one comes to the Father but by me, when you look in the more clear Siddhanta of the Vedas, you got to go through the bona fide spiritual master who has an intimate relationship with the Lord. See that? So they are the way, and there's no other way. You can't go directly. You need to go through the devotee, you know, who has that, and they're, you know, like, so. That's a conclusive understanding. Although they say, "Oh, it's only Jesus." Well, it's anybody who's has a relationship with the Lord, and the Lord sends them. You know, go out there and deliver some people. You know?
Well, like a lawyer, you can't really talk to the judge without a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
If you try to, you usually lose. So they're like lawyers representing you to the Supreme Person.
Yeah.
So you have some kind of representation of authenticity. You know, you're not just some fool, you know.
Yeah.
We like to talk to the fools. We got enough of that. You know?
Well, you know, the lawyer knows the law.
Right.
And so the judge, you could say, is God. God, the judge, is saying, well, you know, they listen to the lawyer who knows the law, so, you know, they can let them into the kingdom because, you know, they know the law. They listen to the lawyer, not the corrupt one, the liars and cheaters and those pretending to be lawyers, but aren't really, you know, the false acharyas and the gurus and all that. No, they listen to the real lawyer. Let them in, you know. That's, you know, it's so many conclusive things. When Jesus said, like, I am the true vine, see? You're like the branches. That's the same thing with the tree of devotion in Caitanya-caritāmṛta and the Adi Lila. Is you got to connect to a true branch, which is the parampara head, the live wire. They have the life, the bhakti, the real bhakti, you know. And through that you connect to the tree, not through a dry branch, or, you know, there's branches on the tree, but there's no life in them. That's the Vaidhi persons who have not advanced to the Raganuga. You know, they also got to get the life from the real branch.
Like chewing the chewed.
Yeah.
The sap of the tree.
Got to spit it out, Prabhupada said.
Yeah. Kikiti says, Science of Realize, nice book. Yes, Krishna consciousness is fact, not theory. Yeah, it's got to be fact in your life, you know. That has to be real, you know, substance. I mean, that's the preaching here. It's about, like, substance, you know. It's just like, hey, man, I can relate to that, and, you know, talk about these principles, you know, share them, and awaken bhakti in others.
Well, it's more of a science, you know. If you follow this science a little bit, you'll get something.
Mm-hmm.
You mix these things together, it's what happens.
Mm-hmm.
You chant Hare Krishna a little bit sincerely, we guarantee something's going to happen to your consciousness. Unless you're totally dead inside. Maybe not. But if you have a little life, you wouldn't be chanting to begin with. If you had a little hope, then Krishna will actually give you a big boon to get you going, a big kickstart. I've seen that. So that you will know that what you're doing is authentic.
Oh.
And we're so fortunate that, you know, we have Prabhupada's books to go to when we're not clear, you know, and I mean, because we are all seniors.
Not me. Maybe you.
Dreamer.
He's a dreamer. He missed the revolution.
Because of our years in Krishna consciousness, we can honestly say that here's an example.
We might get accused of being really long on the video. I don't know.
Ben seemed to be accusing. If we get accused, they'll take the thing and it's still going.
Okay, say I ran into something that I wasn't clear on. And I searched and I can't find it. So I give, my Prabhu over here a phone call and say, hey, well, what do you think? And he goes, I don't know. Like you have said many times before, go to the bona fide source. Get that clarification, and then, the understanding becomes conclusive. And it's that conclusive truth that makes the hair stand up on your body. But yeah,
Still waiting for that beard to stand up.
It's that sense of union, sense of relationship, and when that becomes pure, like you say, that's when you can help others. Hence, you're the reason that you preach. Hence, the reason that you have gone down the path that you're going down. Mine, the path I'm going down. We're all doing the same thing, just a little bit differently. Because the truth is in us. And it's awoken. So, at that point, when seniors get together to discuss Krishna consciousness, he wants to hear it. He comes and joins us.
Yes.
So I can't say anymore. I can't hardly talk.
Great.
Wherever two or more are gathered,
Yeah.
I will be there.
Yeah. Where are you staying? Where are you staying? What part of town?
We're on the east side there, east of Houghton on Tinker Verde. You know what Houghton is? It's kind of.
Oh yeah, you got an apartment there? Or?
No, a friend of mine has a really nice kind of ranch house there in Bel Air Ranch. Sitting on 3 acres.
On 3 acres.
It's a really nice house. He's from Michigan too. We went to college together. He's older now. His birthday's today too, but he's 2 years older. But he's kind of a eccentric. He's a real intelligent guy, but his dad was a big Chrysler executive, and he left him a lot of money, and he bought this house at the bottom of the market for like $220. It's worth. I could easily go up to $600,000-700,000. I could make it that way. If you'd give me a few bucks, I could say I'll turn this house into. Because it's got really
Is
nice.
he living there, or are you just?
I'm staying there in a room there in the house. It's got swimming pools and everything, but he's got the house full of. He's a what do you call a hoarder. Just full of garbage, shit that has no value, everywhere.
Is he living there too?
Yeah, and he can't get he can't get loose of it. And nobody can tell him anything else. And even he's got all this money, even his body's falling apart, his teeth are all right. He won't go to the dentist, spend any money. So that's what I'm doing. But I hardly see him, I'm there. So because I lost, I was in California, I lost about $5 million in this recession. That's what happened, how I got here to begin with.
Really? $5 million? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, my mother's house set out. It was inherited too. That was a $3 million that we had it up to, and then I had a house in Fallbrook, California, about $700,000 there, and a bunch of other houses I invested in land, and getting ready to cash it all in when the recession just hit like a thunderbolt, man. Just took everybody down. $5 million.
2008.
Yeah, that was nothing to me.
That's when I walked away.
Other people were got millions. I mean, I was in the building and remodeling and all that stuff, and it was the problem was nobody had any knowledge of what was going on. So they thought this was the right thing. They didn't know that everybody was cheating and lying and
Banks
doing all the wrong things. And all you had to do was stand up to them, and they couldn't do nothing. But they pretended like they had the law, and they were paying the lawyers and everybody and the police to come and throw you out on the street. Didn't care who you were. It was today. I would stand there with a 44 in their face, and they'd just turn around and walk away. They wouldn't do nothing, and I wouldn't care if they did. I was ready to stand my perimeter, keep my perimeter.
Yes. Hey, is there a place for your place like land where we can park a couple of motor homes or?
Well, not really.
I don't know if you'd want to with this.
I'm asking him. I'm asking him.
Yeah, it's kind of restricted area. That was a problem. I wanted to put a motorhome there too.
Wow.
His front, it'd be different if you could hide it, but you can't hide it because of the way the house is built.
3 acres though, huh?
But yeah, you can't get around the back. It's a house and pool and everything covers the whole front of the property.
Must be a big pool, huh?
Yeah, pretty good size pool and all the pool grounds and the pool house. And
is the pool maintained or is it like dirty? And
that's one thing he maintains. He has a guy come by, pays him $20 a week or something. The pool. And it's all fenced off with walls and shit.
Okay, so you can't.
I wish, I wanted to get a motorhome too, just park it there, live it, but they do have an association that's.
Oh God, you got all out of the housing association.
But it's a nice area because there's wild animals walking down the street all the time. This morning I saw a herd of javelinas coming at me, and they saw me and they went the other way. Deer come in, bobcats, coyotes, they come through by the hundreds. They go out, they're like special for they just sweep down the streets, looking for anything that's not running too fast. Yeah, a lot of wildlife, bobcats. I still haven't seen a jaguar, but.
You have a little sugar in it over there, too? A little bit of sugar on it?
No, you had it to me open.
So that's why I'm in massage school, because even though I have a lot of talents and knowledge and all kind of things, when you get 72 or 73, for some reason everybody's afraid of you. Even though I said, look, forget about paying. They just pay me what I sell, commission, whatever. But they're still afraid for some reason, because you're older or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm afraid you're gonna croak on them.
I'm healthier than all them. Everybody in my massage school, they're like in their 20s,
yeah, right.
early 30s. I'm healthier than all of them.
Yeah,
They're like, half of them are overweight, 30, 50 pounds. And they're young kids.
Yeah, yeah.
The other ones are like skinny or something, or unhealthy, their liver's falling out or something.
Yeah, yeah.
And I walk in, I go, even the young guys, 35, that's healthy. He's still, out of shape. I mean, I could knock everybody out in the whole place in 5 seconds. And I'm 74, so I could ride with Balarama Krishna anytime, and just go knock people out.
Yeah.
Well, these days it's nothing but a bunch of soy boys.
Soy boys, yeah.
They're really. I mean, even some of the guys in the service, even in the Marine Corps. I mean, in the when I was in the Marine Corps, the guys were made out of iron.
Yeah, that's the way it was when I was in high school. Even everybody was tough, badass.
But now they got these soy boys that have been eating soy, and
Call them soy boys.
We find out it's full of estrogen.
Yeah.
So these guys are being turned into women.
That's why they don't know what bathroom to use.
Exactly. And it's just sad. It's just sad because soybeans are good for women.
For women, yeah.
Or for given animals.
Legumes were made for men.
So even tofu's not good.
No, tofu.
Actually,
that's the worst.
I've seen a doctor online who
saying to stay away from soy. Anybody right now.
Yeah.
What is this? They put estrogen in it or
No,
something?
it's naturally full of pseudoestrogen.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well.
And it acts when a guy eats it. You start getting boobs.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Man boobs.
Yeah.
And I mean, the pictures I've seen, scary.
Wow.
Really scary. And I mean, even some of the Marines that were muscle men, you know, tight, they look like, you know, some kind of little blubbery boy. And that's just not.
Well, that's pretty much how everybody at the school is. They're kind of overweight, soft, and this is the top end of the students. These are people that are interested in health, you know, massage and being healthy. And they're like, another 50 years, what are we going to have here?
Women.
I mean, not even women, nothing. Some kind of strange beings. Won't be human beings. So,
Anybody? I'm gonna make a little coffee and keep myself good.
Do the dishes and stuff too.
No, I'm afraid I'm going to have to get going myself.
so you were in Vietnam?
No.
You didn't go to Vietnam?
No. I
So you're not-
went in 77.
77.
Yeah. I'm 10 years younger than you are.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
You're a punk then. You missed the revolution too.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't have
No,
all...
my big brother was one of the guys that got knocked out of his bunk on that aircraft carrier out of the coast of Vietnam.
Yeah?
Where they flew that plane into the side of the aircraft carrier.
Yeah?
My brother was one of the guys that got knocked out of his bunk
In the Navy.
because, because that plane hit the side of their aircraft carrier.
Yeah, the revolution. I was the campus minister in Las Vegas, New Mexico. You ever been there? You ever heard of it?
Where? Which one?
Las Vegas, New Mexico?
Las Vegas?
I think we went through. I went through there.
Well, you can't really go through it. You can go by it. It's probably one of the oldest cities, if not the oldest city in the United States. Established by the Spaniards in 16-something. And sitting 7,700 feet. Was the most advanced city in the West in 1880. It had streetcars and everything.
Las Vegas?
All,
Mexico.
anybody you've ever heard of in the outlaw times, all hung out there, including yours truly. And Billy the Kid, Doc Holliday, Wyatt Earp, and a whole bunch of people you never heard of.
Oh.
They were so advanced, and they had this casino there that was built on the side of this cliff in this mystique canyon called Montezuma Canyon outside of town.
I have heard of it.
And it looked like a big German castle, surrounded by hot springs. And they had them all developed, you know, for bathing and stuff.
Really? Wow.
Right next to the Guyanus River coming out of the Pecos Wilderness. And everybody who was anybody went there. Doc Holliday was a big gambler, and Dennis.
That was the beginning of the Pecos Kid, wasn't it?
Pecos Kid, that's my nickname.
Yeah.
And
Is there anything
I'm talking
interesting,
about the real
like
one.
remnants of that time there?
yes, it's all still there.
It's all still there. Huh?
And of course, it's not what it used to be because they outlawed gambling in the 1880s in New Mexico.
Oh, really?
That's why Doc had to leave. When I was there, we established a hockey team on that Guyanus River that would freeze because this is up around over 8,000 feet now, where that big German castle is. It was a Mexican monastery for Mexican priests that wore these black robes. And we would go out there, all the East Coast boys. I'm from Michigan, and we had a big guy who would play hockey out there on the river. And we even got the whole city that even never heard of hockey to sponsor us as a hockey team, the Las Vegas Blackhawks, and we had all these cool uniforms. We played all over New Mexico, Texas, and everything. But anyway, these priests would come out in their black robes, and you had to come hike down from this castle kind of down to the river. And they would line the river, and they would all yell, and they couldn't speak English, and they all wanted to play hockey too. So the townspeople collected all these skates and got these priests to wear skates that never skated before.
and get out there and play us in hockey with their robes on. And we had translators trying to teach them rules. They didn't give a shit about rules. And they're swinging sticks, and we're playing, and hundreds of people out there way up in the mountains watching this hockey game. It was, I wish I had it on video. It was good. Yeah, I was they appointed me the campus minister, even though I was no big minister guy, but they thought I was the kind of person that should represent. It was in this beautiful, well, it was a church, the oldest Episcopal church in New Mexico. That it was no longer Episcopal church, but it was right across from campus. Big, beautiful Gothic windows, and I had my own apartment there. Big open area that I turned into this wild coffee house. And we had all the latest music playing, you know.
When was this?
69, 70. And everybody coming down that Highway 25, which is the main road going between Denver and south, knew about my coffee house, which was like, yeah, I'll take some. Yeah, which was like Judge Roy Bean's place. Law west of the Pecos.
Who wants a cup?
You want coffee?
Yeah. And everybody would stop there with all these musicians, really great musicians you never heard of, playing there. It was our place. Eric Clapton was there. Of course, he wasn't very well known in '69, but he stopped there.
Now that you put the rock and roll part into it, I know what you're talking about.
Then we had the Revolutionary. We had free love. We had everything free. But then we found out you had to pay for it later. But that was
Pay for it later.
We still didn't beat the system. We thought we had to beat. Then Prabhupada showed up and said, well,
keep the mic. It's not alive.
Prabhupada said, you can't beat it. Read this book. And a Srimad Bhagavatam fell out of the sky, seems like, out of nowhere. I was up in the high meadow up there, 9,000 feet. And I started reading the Srimad Bhagavatam. I go, this one book, first canto, it just summarized my whole education. I'm working on a master's in counseling psychology. I read all these philosophers and all these psychologists, Freud, Jung. And Prabhupada just summarized it here. What is going on? Why didn't they have this book before? I could have not wasted so much time. And then I read every book as it came off the press. So I guess, hey, buddy, what are you doing here?
That's Lila.
So when I came into California, I guess Krishna said, you're ready. And I was working the journeyman carpentry and had a really good job, making big money. Could have bought any house on the beach. 20 years old, 22, 28. And they went on strike. I went to the Laguna Temple. And they said, hey, we're going to take a little trip to this thing called Rath Yatra. We're driving up there. About a couple guys. You want to go with us? No, I'm on strike. What the hell? I was with San Francisco. So what's going on? And that was the beginning of the end.
Change your whole life. Huh?
Changed my whole life.
Cream, sugar,
No cream.
honey?
Cream.
So just a little cream. You want French vanilla or plain, half and half, or there's one little hazelnut.
French vanilla would be good. Yeah, I went up there and with the Laguna, about 5 Laguna devotees, and if you know they had rented this big hall. I think it was called the American Hall or something. Big 100 by 100 square, floor space, and I come walking in there, and Vishnu John's in the middle of all these people, and he's like spinning around through the air. And I go, holy Christmas, who is that guy? He's like spinning through the air with this madanga. and Radha Damodar are glowing like they're on fire. Just and they go, well, that's Vishnu John. Golly, he's got to be inspired. Is that from chanting Hare Krishna? I go, and then the next day, I was helping. They were preparing up. They fed all these people that were all these. San Francisco. Imagine San Francisco in 1974.
Yeah.
Every freak in the universe is there.
Just like out of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
When that bar, it's like that.
Yeah.
And so we're feeding everybody. I was helping with the feeding, maybe. And then one of the lieutenants of the Radha Damodar, who I didn't know, Dristadumna, if you know him. Dristadumna, he became a Maharaj later. Dristadumna Maharaj.
He's still around too?
I don't know. He was related to Sigum's 7 family. He was a pretty wealthy kid.
Oh.
I know he dropped out, went into real estate in Hawaii, and then he came back again. Dristadumna. Also, Aja Das, you might have heard of him. He was another lieutenant. Anyway, he walks up to me in the middle of all these people and says, "You want to meet Prabhupada?" And all the Laguna devotees looked at me, and they go, "Who's he? He ain't nobody." Looking at me, "I'm nobody. I'm just a tourist. We're devotees. We want to meet Prabhupada." I said, "Yeah, you want to meet Prabhupada?" He pointed at me. So when I came back and told them that I was going to ride with Vishnu John, I didn't really know who Vishnu John was too much. They all fell on their face. And he offered me a basis. You're going to ride with Vishnu John? You know how many people want to ride with him? They won't let us ride with him. They wouldn't even let us get near his bus because they had laws that you cannot take any regular devotee because everybody wanted to go with him. Married people, anybody, just get me out of here. I want to go. And they said, "No, you can't go." So I was not connected with anybody. So
They just somehow was God, active God.
yeah, it had to be an active guy. Everything was circumstantially just set up perfectly. Just bam, 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 bam. The right person at the right time. Anybody else, I would have gone, "No, you're not cool enough for me." You got
Were people fighting to get on Tamal Krishna's bus? No?
He didn't have it, man. I mean, Tamal Krishna, everybody, he was there, but he wasn't there. I mean, he was the administrator, because Vishnu John wasn't really into all kind of details. He was just chanting Hare Krishna. And he would cook sometimes. And I loved the way he cooked, too, because he made it really hot the way I like it. Hot sabji. And he's like the devotee of my heart. Everything about him was like, I liked. I could not find any fault. I kept looking for faults. There's got to be something wrong with this guy. What's he doing? I'm sleeping practically right next to him sometimes on the bus.
He didn't even snore?
No. And he was always up at like at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, shaking me. "Time to get up, Prabhu." I go, "What?"
2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning.
I go, "What? No, I can't get
And what would you get up to do what? What would you do? Mangal Artik?
Yeah, get ready, get cleaned up, get ready for the day, Mangal Artik. Time for morning kirtan. And then we go into total bliss. After the morning kirtan and Mangal Artik, Vishnu John would lead. Then we had this sumptuous breakfast until our eyeballs were back in your head.
Oh boy!
And then you go out and do some more kirtan with Vishnu John, and then have another sumptuous lunch. Maybe do a little work on the buses, see what had to be done here and there, and go to the next town. We had things were kind of set up ahead of time. We had appointments like state fairs, colleges. They were set up. We had people setting up. We got things approved ahead of time by police and things because we're a pretty big force, coming in. 6 buses, pretty powerful entry.
6
with
buses.
20 men. And each
You're all
bus.
together? The buses just travel?
Not all the time, but a lot of the time, yeah.
A lot of the time, wow.
We had also satellite vans that were with the buses. We're a regular army.
My God.
Force to be reckoned with. We came in town. In fact, we'd make Tamal Krishna nervous a lot of times on campuses because we'd be out there, the Radha Damodar guys, we're all tanned up, wearing vests, we're all got big arms and stuff and marked all up. And we're like another species of man coming onto these campuses, and these girls would go, wow, look at those guys. And they would sometimes grab our bead bags, and start squeezing them. And Tamal would go freak out. He'd go, look at those girls, get those brahmacharis away from those girls.
Women too, women devotees with you too, right?
No, all men. There was, when we come to a temple, we would allow women to come on our bus, and they would offer artik and stuff to the Radha Damodar. But they never traveled with us, no. It was all brahmachari, strictly brahmachari. And we had if there was women travel, I don't think it would have worked too good. Unless there was really special, advanced women somehow, like Radharani or somebody.
Yeah. There was a temple in Surrey, British Columbia, and you guys went up there, and there's a park, got this big drive around, and I've got a picture of the 6 buses around the backside of the park. And that was the first time I ever heard of Krishna consciousness at all.
Well, you might have seen that picture. I'm in that one picture of the 6 buses there in Chicago, of the hardcore group of the Radha Damodar sitting there with the Radha Damodar deities, the Vishnu John and Tamal Krishna sit down. And the drivers are in the buses, and I'm standing there too, next to, behind somebody there. I got that picture. I can bring them.
Got pictures of
Yeah, I could bring those pictures. Yeah, they were taken right after initiated there in Chicago. Chicago was really a wild place back then. They had lots of devotees there.
That's her toy that she doesn't like.
Oh, I can tell.
Apparently she likes it.
They had taken over the Salvation Army building there, which was a big, big building, and made it to a pretty nice temple.
Sounds like there was a lot of money back then to use.
Yeah, there was a lot of money, and because of all the book distribution, and we were always number one. Radha Damodar was always number one because they hard to keep up with us going to all these different campuses and stuff, and people were just amazed. But we sold more than books. We sold clothes, a lot of Indian clothes and jewelry and incense and everything from India. And a lot of people never seen this stuff, especially in the Midwest and North Dakota. These farm girls, they see these Indian clothes, and they would just freak out, and their boyfriends would go, "You don't want that, do you?" "Yes, I do."
You up in North Dakota, huh?
Yeah, mine it.
I worked up there. You went up there. You just helped to get up there.
What were you doing up there?
I did a nursing job up there.
Mine it?
In the hospital.
Mine it? Mine it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where we
You were in
picked up.
Minot?
We picked up a couple of devotees there.
Were we in Minot?
Yeah, they were in the.
We're at the state fair there, in the Minot State Fair. I'll never forget. That was a wild place.
Yeah.
It was like so hot
Mosquitoes, they had to do airplane spray.
and so humid. And then they had this shower that was water was like 20 degrees. It seemed like you'd freeze blue, and then you'd walk out to 100 degrees. It was like, I go, man, it's a wild place. I go, they had that deep rock, igneous cold water, fresh water, but the heat was crazy. Didn't stop Vishnu John. We drew big crowds there at the state fairs.
Well, we got the Pima County Fair coming up April 18th to 28th.
Better get some incense. That was just all that real crappy American-made incense. Whoever made it, I don't know. It was nothing like that, the Vrindavan stuff. But it was.
Well, Christians will have a booth there, and it'll be kind of like the first thing they'll ask you is something sort of off the wall. Like, no, I can't even. You have to have kind of like what I call sick humor to come up with these questions that they would have, but
I'm saying goodbye to everybody.
Okay.
That's it.